These beats are the purest. Prove it, prove it. These beats are the purest. Prove it, prove it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome on into the Gopherwatch League Season 5.5 Grand Finals between the Pusheens and the Phrogs. And today, joining me, what seems to be a seasonally occurrence, his emergence from the hyperbolic time chamber of casting, is going to be Aliagator on the color cast. Aliagator, it's been a while. Here we are again for a Grand Finals that's sure to deliver.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Booney. It's a pleasure to get out of the cave for a little bit, even if it's just to cast some silly little game of Overwatch, or maybe not so silly. As you said, it's the grand finals here of season 5.5 between the Phiji Phrogs and the Pokhara Pusheens. Two teams that represent the essence of PP, so much so that we could get quadruple PP in this finals, but we'll have to see how it goes in the end. I'm really, really excited about this match because if I'm not mistaken, Booney, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is only the second time that these teams have matched in the entire season, including regular season and playoffs.
I believe you are correct. The only other time we saw them was during the winners finals in the winners bracket, which was had a pretty dominant victory for the Fiji Frogs. So Pushien's hoping to change their fate. They did manage to take down the Ice and Imps, our number one seed in the losers finals, to make their way here again for the rematch in this first to four. And you might see some changes here for the Fiji Frogs. We have the Sonic Ronic as well as the Faruto's ringing here, so another new look here for the Frogs. Pretty hard to prepare for a team that has 17 ringers every single week, but the same looking standard composition we've seen from the all season. This brawl composition with Wags, a very strong Reinhardt player, going up against Purple Jesus on that main role. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last Gopherwatch League match of Overwatch 1. Let's send out the game with a bang here, starting out on Lijiang Tower Control Center. Both teams looking to take that White Room control early here. Moving out. Nice big flame strike in from Wags, but a charge and Purple Jesus gets stunned up though, so can't quite get the follow through. Nuttier losing on the immortality field early, but Wags gonna go down. So with those two big members on the fight already for the control here, of the Fiji Frogs. It looks like the Pinkar Pusheens got a really early advantage and get the point here first with his Doomfist composition.
Yeah, and you know, maybe we are used to watching all this Overwatch League these days with Doomfist as a tank, although not so much so as of recently. But here we are, Doomfist back on being a DPS, and it is being really, really effective right now, as well as that Symmetra. It is really proving to be more effective, at least for the moment, that Junkrat and Cassidy.
Oh, but speaking of the Cassidy, or speaking of the Junkrat, there's going to find Bronx early. So 3 quick kills for the Frogs. They just go in there, peeling off Ox's damage from those mines, as well as just the pure damage from Sonic Chronic from the flank. And a pretty quick flip there, 27% only for the Pusheens, but they have a couple ults coming up here.
I knew Caster's Curse was going to strike sooner or later. It's inevitable. But that fast? I mean, that's just not fair. It makes me look dumb.
I mean, here we go in here. Can Pearl G's head, big shatter. The window comes out early, looking for the shatter, looking for a slam. There's a big one! And 4 people on the ground for Pearl G's, but the Immortality Field and the beat is well timed, but they do not have any response here for the Graviton Surge. Mikey slams in with the fist, but 2 kills here still in favor of the Fiji Frogs. So it's a back and forth fight, but Pearl G's is in your backline. He has a big hammer, but the charger from Wags, the boop on Pearl G's can't hit the charge. And it looks like the Pusheens will be forced to retreat using 4 ults there, and they got nothing for it.
Absolutely. That was a masterpiece of a recovery. I mean, Purple Jesus hits that, what was it, like 4 or 5 player shatter? But then all those ultimates come out. There's Muffin Lumps with that key immortality field that saves so many lives as well, because Rybro is throwing that Graviton Surge as well. So that's just a lot of damage negated that keeps the team alive. And here we go again, even more ultimates throwing out. But it is the Frogs coming out on top, courtesy of Ox.
Another big shadow from Portuguese gets 3 down the back, and with 2 quick kills here for the Frogs. The pin boops Azaria into the bomb from Ferudals. Ferudal with the 2. And yeah, I mean, just there's nothing that the Pusheens had to answer here for the aggression of the Frogs.
Yeah, they got the first point control, but that might have been an oddity. It was just the first fight, and it seems like the Frogs are well on course to winning this point. They're just 10% away and counting down, with both support ultimates and shatter probably gonna come online. Only the amplification matrix there for the Pokhara Pusheens. And look at that, already Sonic Chronic getting 2, Frog as well getting another 2. I mean, this is just cleanup duty, the Deadeye to boot. And there goes the first point for the Fiji Frogs.
Yep, that's what I mean. Going in that fight, you only had the window to use if you're nuttier, and you know you got to go to point eventually. So you had to walk past it, and then Wags got in a bit of a flank angle there, took the attention away with Nathan on the Cassidy, and just really, or Mike on the Cassidy, but really no answers for just the straight aggression here. But we are going over to Gardens, which is a more divey-centric map, which, as we saw against the Iceland Imps, the Pokhara Pusheens had a very strong dive comp, so this could be the answer looking forward to perhaps bring us to a Night Market .3 on our first map here, and no swaps except for the Symmetra coming back out in favor of the Junkrat here for the Fiji Frogs, and look at a very different style from both squads coming up here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, going from the Reinhardt to the Wrecking Ball, the Diva is going to stay there from the size of Frudals. Symmetra, as you said, very similar, but Mikey on the Echo and nothing on the Soldier 76 with Bronx on that Mercy. Mercy Lucio, usually not a support composition that you like to see, but there it is. They got the first pick.
Yeah, they got the first pick on Sonic Rock. Now Mikey is completely unavoidable in the sky here. However, they do trade out. Both supports going down here for the Pusheens as Ox builds up that Sim Beam and gets a 3rd kill in his fight. Ox looking very stellar here on this Metro so far this match and this playoffs. And now Frog is going very aggressive on the bridge looking for those boops, but looks like they're able to retreat just in time. But yeah, stellar showing from the DPS of the Fiji Frogs there.
And there is nothing that you can do against them. It seems like they found this magic composition. It was a Junkrat before from Ox, but Sonic Chronic on this Cassidy has been just absolutely amazing. There's no stopping that aim. Already support ultimate's gonna be online. Amplification matrix is there. Lots of sustainability and the double boop. Oh, you got to it. It's just filthy.
He gets in the grand finals one time and starts making plays already. And yes, Mikey did get the duplicate on the Reinhardt, but got really nothing out of it. But it does look like a flip will come through for the Pokhara Pusheens, and that was a huge play from Nuttier there. A stellar showing from this player who has won a grand final so bad since he's joined the league a couple seasons ago.
I mean, that play just basically wins you the fight. It's as easy as that. You get a double boop, you bring it from a 6v6 to a 6v4, and there's a point where numerical superiority is always going to win, and that was the point at which they were in that fight. So much so superiority that Frog didn't even get his ultimate, but is going to be online now.
The really weird sim TP. Wags is completely alone right now in the backline, getting jumped on by the dive composition of his team. But I think that might be a boop though. Ribro though, able to get back to put that big shatter, gets Mikey on the floor here. Mikey got his wings cut by Wags there as we move in. The beat is used by Nuttier though, so it's a later beat. Could potentially turn the fight in their favor. It looks like it's going to right now as Nathan gets a kill on the Wags as well, but Frog will get the supportal combat kill on the Bronx, but it looks like the Pokhara Pusheens have the kills in their favor right now. However, the boop could be big. Ribro flying very weak, gonna lose that mech here. As this damage is there, but Privileges has returned to the point. The charge from Wags will take out Ribro, but Frog has already gone down, and now Farudo's losing that mech. It's a desperation play from them right now, and now Privileges is just rolling him over on this wrecking ball, and nothing really happening, and no 2K move sends him to the drink and solidifies the fight.
It just keeps coming, those boops. Absolutely beautiful. As you said, it's nothing more than just solidifying. At that point, the fight was quite already won for the Pusheens, but the showcase of skill, the demoralizing, you're just getting in your opponent's head. And in final fight territory, as you said, this might as well be a round 3.
Yeah, here goes the bombs on both sides, but Immortai feels there, but doesn't work, as Movalum is just out of the range of it. Prodigy is now in your backline, just swinging around, getting the kills, getting the final blows. Mikey has that hyper-focusing beam to take down Farudo's mech, and it looks like this will be the Pokhara Pusheens taking a pretty dominant win here on Gardens, and now we're going to Night Market to decide this climactic map 1 already in our grand finals.
Great comeback from the Pusheens right there. It was not quite the dominant performance that we saw from the Phiji Phrogs in round number 1, just getting all those percentage points. I believe it was like 100 to 27, 100 to 20 something high, almost 30% for the Pusheens. It was this last round, I believe it was like 47 or something to 100, or no, 64, sorry, or something like that. I don't know, bigger numbers all in all for the Frogs, but still the bounce back that was needed from the Pokhara Pusheens to, as you said, send this to round number 3 that is going to be more similar, at least in terms of composition, to that previous point that we just saw. And you've got to wonder, maybe it's not just a point thing, but rather a compositional swap that is going to be the magic that works for the Pusheens.
Yeah, but now we got the Pusheens here trying to get this point to unlock for their side. A big slam from Purple Jesus as they lose Sonic Chronic out early here. As Nuttier gets another kill, the supportal combat coming up from the Lucio. We have 2 Bloodthirst Lucios in lobby, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, Purple Jesus is just swinging around and get the big slams on the enemy team. Muffin Lumps can't get the Immortality out in time to save his life, as just swinging through Purple Jesus is being so aggressive on his Wrecking Ball and just breaking his comp up. There's being annoying. He's doing his Nuttier gets another 2K here. Nuttier on the Lucio, looking pretty swaggy so far today. Sonic Ronic has returned on the Reaper and gets 2 kills here so far to bring it potentially back in his team's favor. They do not have a mech though, as Bronx goes for the res, but gets shut down by Fruitals out of the mech right now. The Baby Diva puts in the work, puts in the damage, and Farudos gets that mech back and gets another kill. So Sonic Ronic somehow came back with Farudos and got this point flip back in the team's favor. Pro Jesus is there on the Wrecking Ball to get anything done, but the point flips finally here in favor of the Frogs.
Commendable work right there from the Frogs, and you look at them, that fight drew on for so long and no ults were used. So it's gonna be Shatter, Diva Bomb. Maybe if this is a long fight, you can get that Reaper ultimate as well, the Death Blossom, plus the 2 support ults. On the other side, pretty full as well, almost 6 online with 3 being there and another 3 being so close by. So it is definitely going to be a fight of the alls right here.
Yeah, here comes the minefield and the window. However, I believe he got stunned out of those mines. Didn't get any of those down. A beat into engage here from Frog, but Mikey has a shadow. Looks to lay it down. Gets Wags with his back turned. And the bomb comes on to follow up, but cannot get out of the way for Roodles. Gets 2. Lays it down in the main foyer. And here comes the Reaper ult, the Death Blossom, not the flowers that the Pusheens are hoping to receive. There is Sonic Runner, gets 2 kills, and Wags will finish off the hamster by putting him into the wall. And yes, the point will yet again maintain favor here for the Phrogs, and the ticks just keep going up in their favor here, getting pretty dangerous.
Yeah, better ult usage, or at least more intensive ult usage, because you look at those numbers and you see all 5 were used, aside from Oaks, of course, who was at 30-something, 40, for that high noon, for that Deadeye. On the other side, you've still got the Diva Bomb and the Valkyrie, with another duplicate coming online soon, but Oaks is going to get the first one, so no sound barrier will be built for Nuts here, and there's going to be no duplicate either, as Mikey goes down. Purple Jesus drops down the mines, and Muffin Lumps is going to go down. And Muffin Lumps not alive, so that means no immortality field. Sonic Chronic, though, is going to get Purple Jesus, another one onto nothing, and with Fruitals getting Bronx, this should be another fight win for the Phrogs, and might as well be the map winning fight.
And yeah, here comes the stagger kills here on a Ribbo, and really nothing they can do. Purple Jesus might have to come back with a touch here. Mikey is there with duplicate, but it's going to take a miracle here from both these DPS ultimates to get anything done here. Gets duplicate onto the Diva, but Frog gets that kill on Nut here. A social elusive diff here pretty early, but trying to get the bomb off. Mikey's not going to quite get it. Can he get another mech here to work it? No, he cannot. The window will be too well placed there from Mufflums to slam in the bomb. Will clean Purple Jesus, and looks like the Phrogs have claimed our first map. Just some last minute staggers here out from Ribro and Nathan on the point. The Visor finding really nothing. We'll find Sonic Ronic, but that's pretty good. Need about 5 more of those. And the Phiji Phrogs are going to claim Lijiang Tower and take our first map in the series here, putting them one step closer to raising the Corey Wills trophy.
And we were talking earlier about the dominance and the difference in terms of percentage. Oh my god, what a play of the game by Nutter, of course, that double boop. It was just beautiful. But as I was saying, we were talking dominance in terms of the numbers, and really nothing was more dominant than that last round. It was 100-0. But if you look at how that that last round happened, was it really that dominant from the Phrogs? I think it wasn't as much as the numbers let through. So the Pusheens, I feel like they're almost there. They just need that tiny little bit of magic spark that's going to allow them to push through. Maybe they can find it in map number 2.
Yeah, that map number 2 is going to be Numbani. We're on scrim rules here. We are obviously just running. We're just running maps here. We're quick mapping this. But as we saw on the first map of Gardens and Lijiang Tower, the dive looked heavily in favor of the Pokhara Pusheens. Really no answers seemingly from the Phiji Phrogs. Maybe they whip out their own Winston, their own Wrecking Ball here, or perhaps we see the Wags Roadhog that brought him the Season 4 championship with the Pompeii Pelicans. A lot of changes got to come out here if the Phiji Phrogs want to take this map and go 2-0 in our series and set themselves up pretty good for the rest of the event here. But we will be having the Pusheens on their attack first. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a Wags Roadhog here. A bit of a big sight if he pulls it out for us. Yep, there he is.
There it is. And there it is. That Sigma Hog composition that we haven't seen a long time, but we know can be so effective. San Francisco Shaw quite famously winning those Season 3 finals of the Overwatch League on a very similar composition. And you were talking about the superiority of the Pokhara Pusheens in this type of maps and maybe a potential win for them. I do have to agree with you on that one. This is not looking like a 3 Overwatch kind of day. But I have to say, the Phrogs have looked good, and when they're clicking, there are very few teams really that can get over them. So maybe they can bring out the brooms and go for the sweep. We're gonna see a mirror in there. It's gonna be interesting battle between Sonic Chronic and Nothing on that Soldier 76. Muffin Lumps also mirroring Bronx on the Mercy, but that's where the similarities end.
Yep, pretty different composition, but a great early pick there from Ripro. Gonna find Muffin Lumps to the Mercy out of the fight and playing this very passive right now. It's been Pusheens. Phrogs diving back down main, looking to get those heals, but a hog from Wags is there, but the anti-nade is there as well. Can Wags get punished? Wags trying to run to the Mega Rune and get anything done, but they've isolated Sonic Ronic on the back end. But Wags will get that returning kill onto Mikey, so DPS are trade out. But Nathan is picking up the kills here as Frog will fall. Frog on the Baptiste, not that St. Lucio pick. And now just the Staggers coming out there, and a great opening pick there onto the Mercy. We'll take him out of the fight.
That was just a perfect dive, perfect coordination between Purple Jesus and Rybro. It was just amazing. And look at that, the long distance shots from Mikey to claim down Sonic Chronic. The res is going to come through, but look at that, the Diva going for the body block. That pick is not going to be found, but the res has been burned. So it will, we'll have to see if it's going to be available for next fight. And as I was saying, just such a good dive coordination between the Winston and the Diva gives your Mercy no option. Then once the res is gone, you technically still have the immortality field, but it's going to be so much harder.
He's down to Purple Jesus as well, jumps up onto the high ground, trying to summon down, but Muffin Lumps yet again, falling very low, will get focus beam down by Mikey in the sky, and now Wags uses that whole hog, trying to maintain his high ground positioning here. Purple Jesus will get traded out, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 here, but with the monkey down, you feel pretty strong here about the Fiji Frogs' chances, but Mikey does have the duplicate here, could look to get Wags potentially off the high ground with the duplicate on the Roadhog, but Mikey falling very low as Ox 2-taps him out of the sky, and Frogs will get the cleanup here, as they maintain here on Nambani B. This Roadhog can now get set up on flanks and be a lot more dangerous. Oh, speaking of, there he is.
There you have it. And I think it was a good decision. It was a good call from the Pusheens not to use those ultimates. Because now you see there you got Rybro with that bomb coming online. Mikey with the duplicate. We know the duplicate isn't exactly an ultimate that you get fast. Oh, the shots from Sonic Chronic onto Nazir. I was spectating that POV. That was simply lovely. The Diva Bomb is going to get thrown out though, but Mikey had been taken down by the Gravitic Flux from Frutals, and this is getting a bit chaotic, and I don't know if good decisions are being made here.
Yeah, this seems like the combo's starting to break down here, but now it's just up to the Roadhog to cause some chaos in the back, but Ribro's already killed both supports here with the melee kills with the Fists of Fury. The Wags hook won't find anything, and Mikey gets the duplicate as well. Here comes the tank line, quote-unquote, of Mikey and Ribro, making that space Sonic Chronic forced to retreat using those legs. Can he get out with his life? He's gonna get staggered out here if he doesn't die soon, and he's still alive. He's just running around. Why? Oh no! He's still alive! How does he get out of that? The immortality field there as well. Can they come over the pass? No, the soldier's still alive. Sonic Ronic's got the smooths, and he's got his life. They have one more chance. So the Fiji Frog takes the point back. Ribro has no mech. Ribro does have it though. Muffin Lumps engages back in with the Valkyrie. Uses that damage boost. Sonic Ronic tries to get things, but Frog goes down early. Not a good start here for the Fiji Frogs. And Purple Jesus cleans up the kills. They get the res there on the Frog, but with Purple Jesus going absolutely bananas in your backline with 2 kills on the Primal Rage. Not really too much you can do. Frog thinks it's winnable here and uses that window. Perhaps looking for a swap here after this. A nice anti-nade on the Ferutals there from Nuttier. As Prodigious and Nathan continue to clean up the point, and clean up point being Umbani, and 4 minutes remain in the time bank to get this all the way home.
That was chaotic, but I guess the Pusheens made it work. Now Purple Jesus is bringing out the Orisa. Here we haven't seen much in the Overwatch League with all that rework in Overwatch 2, but we know in Overwatch 1 is quite different. It works in a very different way, and that double shield composition is just so powerful. Wags as well, moving over to the Reinhardt. Roadhog time is over.
Yeah, the Roadhog finds a lot less value against 2 shields there, try to block those hooks, but now this Reinhardt can just walk straight in, really uncontested. If they can deal with Mikey and Nathan on the back here. Nathan has his visor, but Ox is waiting in the wings for this flank high noon here. Can he get something to work here? Decides to maybe unleash it. No, just cannot quite land the shots on the Bronx. Hit 1 headshot, but couldn't follow up with a second one. And this point is just slowly moving forward here, which is exactly what the double shooter wants. Just a slow, spammy fight here. And you're going to eventually lose his Ox to the 2 HP. And Ribro hits him with those Hyperwalk Spears on the flank. But Wags also has another shatter here. Could lay down the Nanos, invested as well. Walks forward. They could be a big one here, but the Nuttier used the Valkyrie, or used the Nano Boost onto Prodigious. Prodigious gets slept, but they've already killed Frog. Here comes the Nano onto the Orisa and the Visor from Nathan. Wag still has this shatter 1%, but the kills are coming heavily in favor here. And here goes Mikey with a duplicate. The Shatter goes down and gets nothing. Actually gets 2 people down, but there's no fallout to be had. His entire team is already dead with a Mikey duplicate visor in the back and a huge sleep on Ox.
Oh.
He's gonna get staggered.
Oh my, that flank looked so amazing, and the pick with a Deadeye onto Bronx, it looked like it was deadly. Now Wags coming back on the Wrecking Ball, getting 2, actually Nutter and Mikey, we'll see you later. There's going to be the Supercharger and the Gravitic Phrogs from the tank line of the Pokhara Pusheens, but Frog is going to find one. It's very, very scrappy on the point. Now it is stall composition with Ox on that Tracer, and it seems like the Frogs are going to hold on for the moment.
Yeah, a great play from Wags there. A hero play comeback, getting those 2 early kills. And then the last 2 staggers there on the cart. Followed up, Muffin Lumps hit a huge anti-net on both of them. They were able to get cleaned up very quickly by Sonic Ronic on the legs, pumping out that damage. But yeah, a really kind of weird composition here now for the Phiji Phrogs. Is really spam heavy. Will they be able to mount a defense against a double shield? But they use a lot of ults here, the Pokhara Pusheens, so they really have nothing to work with except for maybe Bronx's Valkyrie. Do they look to invest it here? The swing through from Wags will knock Prodigies out of position here, but they're going to lose the Mecha Ferrules, and they have a Immortality Field as well. This could be devastating, but Frog always has a window here, so this could be the game changer, but Ferrules is out of the fight. You lose your Diva, but Wags is just running through the back right now, getting some pretty big swing throughs, and another big slam on the tank line of the Pusheens, falling very low. Nathan has his visor, looking to try to get some kills here, opens point up, and they're going to get both support. Prodigious, the Orisa, the god Orisa has arrived, but he's going to get taken down. Ox tries to get something with that pulse bomb, will only find the top. Wags is still alive, and Wags has this minefield here for the point, looks to put it in there, and now they can't touch the point, they got to go through it. They look like they've won it yet again, despite some early picks in favor of the Pusheens. Wags just being a nuisance on his Wrecking Ball, and Sonic Ronic pelting in the damage.
How? This is just a massive blunder from the Pusheens. The Frogs should have never been able to win that fight. I mean, the only reason why they win it that I can imagine is because those pigs were so staggered that the spawn proximity actually made a difference, but it is really not hugely a difference in these escort boats. And now it is under 30 seconds for the Pusheens and going down.
Yeah, here comes a bomb in the back of the duplicate. Mikey's not going to get anything, though, but they do get kills here. The tank line, the Pusheens gets 2, but there's already been 4 trade here in favor, and a huge sleep on the Prodigies from across the map. Frog flying very low, though. Muffin can't quite get the heals, and Mikey finds both supports. And the hook as well on the Ferrules. This could be turnable here as Prodigies finds Ox. This could be it. Somehow, the Pokhara Pusheens might clutch us out. They have 2 on the cart right now as Sonic Ronic has returned. Has the healing field down. Oh, Prodigies can't quite get the hook there. Sonic Ronic trying to get some done, but gets focus beam down by Mikey. Wags on the cart, just trying to stay alive. 87% to his minefield. Tries to get the Mega Pack, but not quite yet. Has to go all the way around. Here comes Ribro with the Vivid Flux. Mikey's going to find Ox, but swing through here from Wags. They cannot touch Ox! Wags was just a half a second off the cart, and they're able to bring it home. The Pokhara Pusheens, 4 minutes, and they needed every last second of it, but they do complete Nambani.
And that was some MVP carry level performance from Mikey there in those last 30 seconds. I mean, from the moment I say there's only 30 seconds left and I stop talking, Mikey's already going crazy with the Diva in the backline. But when they're taken out of that duplicate, which is also when, if I'm not mistaken, Muffin Lumps hits that sleep accidentally on Purple Jesus, because I can tell you that sleep was aimed at Mikey just as they came out of the duplicate. Mikey goes absolute haywire. It's just a rampage. I don't know how many picks fall in there, but I can tell you some people respawned and got killed again, and it was basically that allowed the Pusheens to push until the end. But very, very good performance from the Frogs, especially here in the 3rd point, considering the big time bank that the Pokhara Pusheens were pushing with.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll draw our viewers' attention here to the stats right now. We don't usually point these out, but we got them there for a reason. For reasons like this, because look at how even the teams are across the board, except for that 3rd DPS slot. Ox playing more of the Cassie, the Tracer, so 6,000 damage is pretty standard for that kind of hero. But he got Mikey pulling out 10.6k damage on this Echo, this Pocket Echo, putting in a lot of work right now. And now we have a swap from the Frogs. They're gonna go a full dive comp. Wag's gonna be on the Winston here, rather than the Roadhog or the Wrecking Ball. So a very different look here for them so far. We have not seen them play this composition very often in the playoffs. They really need to, just sticking to that brawl. But it could be devastating as Frog is looking for perhaps a very sneaky boop here. Ribro falling weak. A bubble is placed down there by Wags. Will block off the healing from Nuttier on his team. Goes up for another jump here, and both are isolated. Ox is there for the follow-through, but Frog started off that dive with a nice play. A big boop on supports, and yes, it looks like a pretty fast point A take coming in here for the Phiji Phrogs. This dive looking clean, looking crisp, and kind of makes you wonder why didn't they use it on point A of defense.
Yeah, it does certainly make you wonder. And I can tell you don't have to wonder about this. I can imagine a conversation in the Frogs team chat, voice chat, something along the lines like, yo, Mikey just popped off. Why can't our DPS do the same? And Ox took that personally and gets another 5 or 4 picks in that fight. I mean, it's just pop-off after pop-off after pop-off, and it's just such a beauty to watch these DPS go at it in different heroes, but still great performances.
Yeah, let's catch curse by me because I'm pulling out his stats. But Mikey is getting the back line here with a duplicate on the Diva. 80% to that Bomba Ox. Already found their early pick here on the Bronx. Mikey loses out on the duplicate form as well. So, a pretty good start here for the Phiji Frogs as they look to move forward. They don't have the Mercy heals here for Mikey, so his Pocket Echo is a lot less scary with the pocketed part, of course. Frog looking at Nate up in the back line, but Nuttier will not be able to survive as Fruitles is there for the backup for the peel on Frog. Frog just running around right now like an absolute maniac, while riding his way all around the and taking a tour of the entire map. The bomb comes out here from Faroodles, perhaps a remake bomb needed, but Purple Jesus will follow the Frog, and Ox again cleans up these final blows. And it looks like the Frog continue to move forward here with a very unorthodox brawl comp on point B in Ambani.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell you a single thing that happened in that fight aside from what Ox did. I have been stuck on this POV for almost the entire attack round, basically, since that pop-off moment happened at the beginning, and it's just such a beautiful thing to watch.
Alphon can't quite find any landing, but Sonic Ronix Death Blossom will gets 2 kills here. The bomb from Ribro on the cart, not gonna find anything except sending them back to the spawn room as the Death Blossom is there to clean up the final blow on the Baby Diva. And here we go. 5 minutes and 18 seconds on the time bank here for this attack. And just look at the desperation swaps coming out here for the Pusheens. They have no ults to work with except for the minefield.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we said earlier that Caster's Curse comes sooner or later, but I didn't want it to come in effect when we were talking about the 3 Overwatch kind of day. I mean, the Frogs are just looking unstoppable in here, and it's gotta be the Torbjorn turret to deal with the flags of this Tracer from Ox, because it is basically what's giving the space to the Phiji Frogs to push like that. But now with Torbjorn down, that turret is going to be down, and the DMAC onto Rybro as well. It's just going to allow the Frogs to keep pushing, but maybe Mikey has something else to say.
Yeah, maybe. Wags opened up with a solo shatter there, and they get the duplicate from Mikey onto the Tracer, onto that main role of his, and it looks like the Pusheens have stabilized here on the defense. It took a lot of abilities and a lot of ults to do so, but they drew out some from the Pusheens as well, or from the Frogs as well. So not the worst fight for them, but now they're up against the Pulse Bomb and the Death Blossom again here. This combo played very well for Nambani point B for the Frogs.
Yeah, absolutely, and you also have that Coalescence, and even the Sound Barrier is going to come in online earlier for Frog than it is for Nuttier, and the Diva Bomb is also somewhat close, and the Shadow with enough damage you can get there fast enough as well, and beat Purple Jesus to that Minefield and Rybro to that bomb, and of course Mikey on that duplicate. That's not gonna come online for quite a bit. So early Valkyrie and early Coalescence for both teams, and trying to go at it. That Torbjorn almost stays a stick. Oh yeah, the stick does come through. The goop is out, so that ultimate is going to be there, and the resurrection is also there, but at what cost? Ultimates keep being used by the Pusheens, but they can't really get anything going.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of ults being thrown down here by the Frog. Not a lot of kills in their favor, but it does look like it could be turnable here. Both beats are exchanged here from Frog and Nuttier, just trying to stay alive here. Mikey close to duplicate form yet again, but Bronx is going to go down. So under that Mercy Pocket, that duplicate will come ever just so slowly, and his precious seconds could mean a potential map win here. Here comes the duplicate on the run here from Mikey, but Rules is going to go in the back on the Shatter from Wag. Just massive. Lays multiple people down as Sonic cleans up the kills, and 2 minutes and 49 seconds to claim a single tick on Nambani A. And from what we saw in their first attack, we might be seeing map 3 sooner rather than later here, Aliagator.
Yeah, especially because they finished with time. This is the key. Now they're going to get those 249 to attack, and the best that the Pusheens can hope for is a draw in this situation, and they would need to hold on for almost 3 minutes for those 3 ticks on point number one. We're almost talking about 1 minute per tick, but we all know that it is very rare that a distribution as such happens. Very curious though, we're seeing those spawn picks from the Phrogs. Okay, I was gonna say maybe the Symmetra and some off tank changes from Frutals. Oaks was also an alternative DPS, but it seems like they are going to keep it consistent. And for the moment, going to stick with that composition that has worked so well for them. On the defense, we see the Torbjorn. Kind of surprised not to see a Bastion too. In there, we know that ultimate desperation pick. But it is going to take something special from the Pusheens not to lose this map. Because I just gotta say, the Phrogs have been looking unstoppable.
And yeah, I'll point the stats out again because I feel bad for him. So Ox with 13 final blows leads entire team. So you know what? Positive cast a curse for you there, Ox. I made you help you carry the attack there by pointing out your stats in the first round. But a different look here from the Pokhara Pusheens here. They will have the Torb and the ball here on effect on this point A. But will it be one early pick here on supports? Ox is in position yet again, ready for his dive. He is saying that the Torb turret is ready to deal with them this time. And it looks like it's going to work. However, they do isolate the Torbjorn, but they're going to trade Wags for it. So it's a 1-for-1, and Mikey cleans up 2 kills in the back here. So it looks like the Pokhara Pusheens are going to win this fight, as a lot of members of the Phrogs are very weak right now. And Privilege is just swinging through, cleaning up these final blows, getting the kills and getting the staggers.
That is a very, very interesting decision not to kill Frutals. Because that would have been a great chance for a stagger. Oh, there it is. Oaks is going to get staggered now. So that kind of redeemed them. But letting that Baby Diva remake, especially in Numbani here, that you have a lot of cubbies to hide around in this approach to the first point of this chokehold, it is kind of, I don't know, a questionable decision. As I said, it ended up working out well for them, but still, the Pusheens are gonna need to show us something better if they want to draw this map number 2.
Rudolph gets his ankles broken there by Mikey flying in the sky. Could not quite find the echo, but they do get a hook here. Squatch will find Nut here, so that Lucy out of the fight. The Project is going to go down as well. It's up to Mikey here to make some magic happen. They're going to lose out on Frog. The break healing out of the fight. Sonic Ronic is forced to use that Wraith form against the Tor 1v1. They're going to lose. It's a 2-for-2 trade right now. Mikey does have a duplicate here, but they need it? It doesn't look like it, as Nathan's cleaned yet another kill here. As Wags is going to get focus beam down. No, stays alive with the healing of the Roadhog. Takes a breather, stays alive, and uses the whole hog here in the small little room. And Mikey can't quite get the hook to land, but will get the final blow. So, yeah, this is kind of looking like a desperation kind of play here coming out from the Phiji Phrogs, as they used a lot there and got really nothing for it.
So that is very curious. I was staying on Wax POV, to see maybe if that whole hog was with, a switch in mind, but it doesn't, and you've got to wonder, that was another questionable decision, this time from the Phiji Phrogs, but you forced out Mikey's duplicate, so at least it's going to be a good trade in terms of ultimate economy, but look at that. The focusing beam is just too much to handle.
It's a great early pick there as Wags goes down, and now they have the Molten Core and the Minefield to control this point, and Nuttier with the beat. There's really nothing they can do. Muffin Lumps dies where they can use the Nano Boost as well. And ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived. The train has stationed here at Draw Bonnie as Nathan and Mikey, this DPS duo on the defense, came alive and tore the Phrogs apart bit by bit. Map 3 with a 1-0 scoreline.
Oh my, is that interesting? We were talking about such a massive time bank for the Phrogs. Next thing you know, you look at the scoreboard, we are in overtime. Those 2:49 went by so fast. It was absurd, almost. Great defensive efforts from the Pusheens. That Torbjorn really seemed to be the key against the dive, and maybe that reluctance to swap from the Phrogs cost them a little bit here in map number 2. But what do you know? It was a draw. They did the job they had to do in the first part of the game. They managed to hold the Pusheens to 0 and then get their time back. So it is still not a bad result for them. They are still in the lead. And the only problem really I can see with a result like this one is if exhaustion comes into play later in the series, because we were playing obviously more maps.
Yeah, I mean there is that, but the thing is though, if you are the Frogs, you're not exactly the most heartbroken against it, because now you got Nambani out of the map pool. You no longer have to deal with it. You no longer deal with this very dive-centric map. You can go to a King's Row in next hybrid, or you can play Blizzard World, which can play in Brawl. So I think if you can just take Nambani with a draw and just pick yourselves up and go next map, I think you're completely fine with that. So let's see here. The Pusheens should be able to pick the next map because they still are the losers of the first map. So it is still the Pusheens map pick here. We are going to a hybrid, or not hybrid, but an escort map. What would you probably recommend them going here for a more, divey style of gameplay?
Oof, for an escort map, let me see. Let me dig deep through my brain. I'm thinking we have Havana, we have Dorado. What else do we have for escort? I've almost forgotten about
Rialto.
these maps.
I mean, I think we're probably going to go to Watchpoint Gibraltar, and we are going to Watchpoint Gibraltar. So
there it
because
is.
usually people are like, "Oh, what are the hybrid maps?" and they think about it for like 15 minutes, and all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, the one I forgot, Gibraltar." That's probably the one they're going to pick anyway because it plays into them. So we are going into Watchpoint Gibraltar. We are going to see more of this dive style gameplay. But Watchpoint Gibraltar, we have seen the Roadhog work here. Not in Overwatch 2, of course. Do not do the Florida Mayhem style. Do not whip out the Roadhog in Gibraltar. It's not going to work. But in Overwatch 1, it is a very solid pick and could work here for the Phiji Frogs.
Yeah, I cannot believe I forgot about Gibraltar. Literally the map to play Winston, and I forgot about it. I'm kind of ashamed. I'm going to go to the wall of shame for casters. This is why I only come out of the cave once every season. Okay, my brain can only do so much. Hopefully, these players' brains will be able to function for way longer and keep us entertained like it's been for the moment. Because really, I think we've had a lot of great moments here, and I'm sure we are all ready to enjoy some more.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it only makes sense because last time we had Frog playing in the grand finals, it was a 8-map series, I believe, that me and Fedora Master casted. So that was, it was fun, exciting, longest match of Gopherwatch history, but at the same time, it's exhausting for both the players and the casters. So let's maybe try to end this one at 7 if we can. If we're gonna go all the way, if we're gonna go the distance. But we did have a bit of a bathroom break, impromptu bathroom break, perhaps some mental warfare coming from Purple Jesus, calling the pause late. But yeah, we are going to have the Penkar Pushi and Starfire on the attack, and I expect to see about the same thing as on Nambani with this dive style working so well for them, getting that draw.
Exactly. And it remains to be seen if any cheeky compositions will make a further appearance in these finals, because we've seen that Torbjorn that I think it can be considered enough of a cheeky pick, especially because, well, we wouldn't have seen it had it not been for that desperation attempt to shut down that tracer from Ox. So maybe it has to be the unconventional strategies that bring us the victory here for either team. But it seems like we are going to stay with pretty much the same composition. A bit less divey from the Frogs with that Baptiste and that Soldier 76. Now we see as well the Roadhog paired with a Cassidy. On the other side, this tried and tested composition of Wrecking Ball, Diva, Echo, Soldier, Mercy, Lucio for the Pokhara Pusheens.
This could be a bit of a thing to look out for here. Waz got to the fight kind of late there, made that Roadhog swap last second to get here, but we'll be here in time for the fight, but not really in the best position. Never mind, gets a hook and a Purple Jesus shuts down that dive. However, Nuttier tried to get that boop off on the point, but Purple Jesus follows it up with the roll through. A lot of damage being done, and Mikey follows it up with the focusing beam. Sonic Rod taken down. Burbo will lose out on this mech, but Wags is left alone on the cart right now. Wags will get focused out again. Mikey is cutting up with the final blows here on this Echo, and a very late immortality field coming out from Muffin Lumps. And yeah, here we go. The dive yet again working here for the Pokhara Pusheens, and a very late stagger here onto the mech of Phrogs. Phrogs still alive, but without the giant bunny suit. Might be a problem.
Yeah, exactly, and we know it builds up fast, so it might be here for a contest if Wags can get something going. The hook was good, but the damage was just way too much, and the point capture is going to come through. And now it's going to be a stagger fiesta.
I mean, yeah, these staggers could be pretty devastating here. Frog might be able to get out. Show us that 4.4 Lucio Tech, my son. Get going. Can he do it? Yes, the immortality field is there in time for Muffin Lumps, but Muffin Lumps paid for it with his life, but we saw the radical wall riding coming out from Frog, so it was worth it in the end.
Absolutely fantastic stuff here from our resident Lucio master. But still good showing. We were talking about the Pokhara Pusheens, this play style, and you've got to keep looking at Mikey. I mean, the MVP performance just keeps coming, and even if it didn't shine as much in that defensive round in Numbani, the death blows, the final blows keep coming. I mean,
Mikey
keeps going, and the deadlift numbers are still there. We'll have to see by the end of the map, but look at that. Frosty on the Mercy as well, first final blow in quite a long time. It was at 0 for the entirety of Numbani, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the funny thing is there, I saw Wags, taking on tank line in the back line, the whole hog and doing a pretty good job staying alive, and then I saw Frosty like stuck in a corner, like, wait, I can just pull out my Glock here. It's like 1 HP. So he did with 1 bullet, send him back to the spawn room, cooked that ham for dinner. But yeah, these staggers yet again come through as Ox gonna go down. I don't know if they'll be able to get Wags here. Wags gets a nice hook, but the fall through is there as Nuttier and Mikey arrive for the fight. Sonic Ronic uses that visor, and Frog kills up 2 final blows. So, very doable here for Phiji Phrogs as they get 3 final blows. The cart still moving forward a little bit here, but for Riddles and Sonic Ronic clean up the final blows. The Ringers trying to keep the team in this match here.
Yeah, but the thing is, look at that time bank. It has only just gone below 5 minutes. I mean, the Pusheens have basically speed ran these first 2 points, and yes, maybe this last one is always the hardest, but with the way they've been playing, I really cannot see them going to overtime on this 3rd point.
Here comes a pretty big bomb back from Phrogs. We'll take out the Mercy here, but Nathan has his tactical visor. We'll find the immortality field kill. Can anything be done with that? Yes, Pro Jesus will find Muffin Lumps and they lose on Phrogs' mech as well. Wags trying to stay alive on this Reinhardt, but just holding his shield, waiting for Frog to heal him up. There's only so much Lucio can do. A nice boot from Nuttier will stop the charge from Wags on to the point, and Wags just meleeed off the map by the wrecking ball. Oh, you hate to see it in the kill feed. And Mikey still has duplicate here, and Frog just trying to stay alive here. We'll get back into the spawn room. Ox will have this high noon. Frog almost to that beat. Can they get a touch here? 4 minutes in a time bank is on the horse.
Look at that.
Yes, he has his
minefield to block up the entrance.
Spawn room, the beat is there though, so the Frogs are allowed to leave. Mikey uses the Lucubit onto the Diva, trying to build up towards that bomb for last second possible kills here, but they lose on a Ribro. So, here comes the Mikey bomb. Can it be enough? Yes, it will. They get 2 kills here. Nathan cleans up with the Helix Rocket on the Frog. And now Pro just swinging through on this wrecking ball. Wags falling very low. Mikey, again, the deadlift, like you mentioned, looking like flood out here. Getting the kills. The focusing beam is looking fantastic. The control. And yes, it looks at 3.5 minutes or so, give or take, will be the time bank for the Pokhara Pusheens on Numbani. Can the Frogs respond? Or on Gibraltar, my bad. Can the Frogs respond like they did on Numbani? There you go. Get your thoughts straight. I'm on a cabin floor right now, alright? My mind's a little boggled.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't blame you, but really, it has been a day and night switch from the Pusheens, from Numbani to here to Gibraltar. Mikey still on a tear. You look at that. 13 final blows. Let me count up just a second if we're still talking deadlift. That's 6-1, that's 7-1, 8.
Looks like 25
9
maybe
and 10.
total?
Yes, we are talking about deadlift numbers and a considerable one. If I counted properly, that was 23. And out of those, 13 are for Mikey. I might have miscounted. Honestly, I don't know how to do math, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to cast, and Mikey's performance has been worthy of all my casting and all my praise. So now, yes, as you said, the Frogs, it remains to be seen whether they are going to be as proficient as they were in Numbani and set an even better time bank. But really, it was almost perfect Overwatch from the Pusheens, so I don't really know if a better time bank is possible.
There's some pretty wholesale swaps here coming through for the Fiji Frogs. Frog going over to Aliana, Wags to the Winston, and for Roodle's bringing the Hog this time. Maybe looking for an early hook, try to get something done, and then swap back over on the Diva. But the Frog Ana, we talked about his Lucio's Baptiste, but Ana's also very clean, especially on Numbani, or especially on Gibraltar. I am so stuck in the last map, because I didn't see a winner, so that's always why I'm still stuck there. But on Gibraltar, Frog hits some pretty sick anti-nades and sleeps, has the angles all dialed in. I don't know where Pro Jesus went on my screen, but Rubo gets anti-naded up, just like I said, falling very weak, but able to get back to the team and will stay alive. Wags trying to take some space here on the high ground, but forced to retreat, but the cart is still moving, so he will take this.
Yeah, Purple Jesus right there just went on and took the scenic route around, just went over there to try to get a good look at the backside of Gibraltar. I was about to say Numbani, and look at that, the disconnect from the team is just too much. That was a lot of time that was drained from the clock from Purple Jesus just by surviving, but that kill was inevitable, and the moment your main tank dies, it is going to be very, very hard for the rest of the team to stay alive. Sonic Chronic with a beautiful 3k, and it's just going to be staggers at this point. So pretty good start from the Phiji Frogs. I mean, they're doing exactly what we said they had to.
And they are, yep, the Sonic Chronic getting that Mercy Pocket from Muffin Lumps has been putting in the work. Says Mikey, yeah, you're pretty good at Mercy Pocket, but look at mine. He's just getting all the final blows here. Ferrudo's finally chiming in here on the kill feed, but Sonic Chronic yet again with another final blow. And Ox takes that server room control. We'll find that pick on the Mercy, and just as you said, those desperation last-second staggers here as Sonic Chronic continues to fill the kill feed. He doesn't play for this team, but my god, he's starting to carry him here on Watchfront Gibraltar point A attack.
Yeah, and I mean, those rockets are just ridiculous. I mean, usually on a hitscan character like this one, the easy thing to hit are the normal shots, but no, Sonic Chronic is just hitting those rockets, even predicting where the players are going to be, like he's eating breakfast.
Mikey gets a duplicate on the road out here, but a big anti from Frog will find two members, both takes it up, but Purple Jesus finds the kills, finds the final blows. And with 4 kills in favor pretty early here for the Pokhara Pusheens. Last second looking Valkyrie popped out from Frosty. Maybe it's trying to stay alive there, maybe it's putting in some pressure, but a good fight there. Despite the huge nade from Frog, they're able to win with Purple Jesus' attack on the dive.
Yeah, exactly. That swap to the Winston from Purple Jesus, bringing it to a more conventional dive, allows more flexibility, for the team. That bubble, those rays from that Winston gun are really what you're looking for here. Try to also peel a little bit more for your team instead of just roaming around so much like the Wrecking Ball, but you can't overextend like that or you're gonna get punished, and you're gonna get punished hard. It's not Wags on the Roadhog, it's Fruitals. But it doesn't matter. You're gonna get killed one way or another.
Yeah, they was produced out pretty early there to a nice anti-nade as well as a hook from Ferrudo. Sonic Chronic tried to put in a little bit of damage, but Nathan had the tactical visor from the high ground, so it prevented the space creation that the Frogs maybe looked for off that initial pick. They'll have one more fight here for the Pusheens. Never mind, maybe not. Frosty going down as Wags gets that dive and controls this entire upper level, uses that Primal Rage, beating him around, has Nathan pinned in the corner, I believe, and will get Nathan off the map. So there you go, 3 kills, 3 quick ones here as Sonic Chronic gets 2 with the final visor, make it a 3k for Sonic Chronic. This Mercy Pocket doing wonders for the Soldier 76, looking spruce in his old age.
Absolutely fantastic stuff that we're seeing right here. Also really love that Wags Primal Rage just to eliminate Nathan from the map. And then the see you later emote. It was just a perfect combo. The Frogs with a slightly smaller time bank in here. That's going to be very, very hard, not to say impossible, to hit the levels of time that were present in that attack from the Pusheens. And look at that, Wags gets slept and almost doesn't get out with his life, but it's going to be enough. And now the Nano onto Purple Jesus.
The Nano on Prodigious goes in the backline, spots Frog, spots Diana, will ice the target, and gets 2 kills here for the Pusheens, and the Primal Rage in the backline as well from Prodigious to clean up the final blows here. But Ribro chimes in the kill feed there, and will get the final blows. But we do have Nathan as well. And yeah, the Frutal stagger on the Roadhog. We might see a swap here with Mikey on to this Ashe now. We might see Frutals go to Diva to try to eat those dynamites.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe just I'm seeing the state. Maybe want to use this whole hog. As we said, already impossible to beat that time bank from the Pokhara Pusheens. It remains to be seen if we will get the full push. That probably Frutals just want to use this whole hog again. And look at that hook, absolutely fantastic onto Rybro, brings them down to half health. So this is a lot of burst damage that can be found, but look at that, Mikey just finds the shot, and it's going to be too much to handle.
Prodigious jumps in, but in his bubble there is an Ox there with a flashbang ready to go, but Mikey gets a kill on the Ox here. So the Cowboy and Cowgirl doing the dance of death here. Here comes Ripper with the bomb in the back line, not against and will pay for it with their life as Sonic Ronic gets the heel croc kills on the baby form. So the cart is still moving forward here for the Pusheens, or not for the Pusheens, but for the Phrogs. And wow, they somehow turned that around after pretty early pick going in favor of the Pusheens, and look at the ults here for this final push.
Yeah, and it seems like the Phrogs get better the farther along a fight goes and the longer it goes. And now you're gonna have to account for Nutter not being there, and look at that! Nathan is playing with fire and got burned trying to get that hog on the respawn, is gonna get sent right back in there. And the Phrogs, if they don't get this push in, I mean, I don't believe in Overwatch anymore. There it is. No need to change my beliefs because the Phrogs are going to get their push in. That being said, they are going to be the first attackers now.
Yeah, and that's not the worst time bank in the world either. Minute 49 is very, very doable. You know, with Nimbani A being such a defensible point, despite the time bank difference here, we could see a very stellar hold on their defense if they get a decent amount here on their attack, which, as you saw on their point A, it was very possible. Both teams had a very stellar attack on A, so I think this could go the distance yet again here in overtime. And the Phrogs there, they played very well. Sonic Ronic got in a very good position for that tactical visor up on that bridge there, right over where it sees the cart puts the end in point C. So that tactical visor is really nowhere anybody could hide for the side of the Pusheens. They had to stop the cart, and there's really nothing you can do with the damage boosted Soldier 76 tactical visor up on the high ground. So a great all-around team play for them, as well as Wags controlling that space with the Primal Rage. So the Phrogs again showing us the stellar team play that I think we've been seeing all game, despite them having 2 ringers here, might we add. They're still pulling out stuff like this, and it's very impressive.
And I'm really surprised to see this DPS change from the Pusheens. They're gonna go on to the Ashe and the Reaper, especially for Nathan. I mean, their Soldier 76, I want to say, was pretty decent. Maybe, yes, maybe they cannot compete with Sonic Ronic, so maybe that's where the swap comes from. Look at that, Mikey already deleted, forces out the rest. But I'm not really that sure about the Ashe.
The Ashe might be the Ashe Reaper might be responsive to the Roadhog play. You know, you can have the Reaper deal with the Hog as well as the Ashe not having to deal with anybody with the D-Matrix in their face as they get that kill on the Cassidy here. But a nice anti on Prodigy. Prodigy is like 1 HP. If you just sneeze in the monkey's direction, he will fall over, but gets healed right back up. And speaking of monkeys getting sneezed at, Wags will get sent back, but will get rezzed right back and sent again to spawn. Very unfortunate running into a Reaper as a monkey. I know the pain, Wags. You know, you are not at fault here, my friend. The pick going here heavily in favor of the Pusheens right now, and the cart is just barely getting under the overpass here. And Ox, though, with Sonic Ronic, they might have done it and getting more push on the cart here as Frog is there to heal DPS up. How'd they win this?
Yeah, it is a very, very weird situation that we're seeing right here. But yeah, the card is being pushed. And one curious thing that I'm seeing spectating Mike on these on this Ashe, Mikey seems to have better accuracy without the scope than with the scope. And I don't know, this is a bit weird because at the distance he's hitting shots at, you'd expect the scoped Viper to be a better weapon, but no, apparently unscoped is the new meta for Ashe. Look at that, Purple Jesus going in for the dive. Oaks is gonna have to get rest to keep this fight going, and now the rest comes from the side of the Pusheens with Frosty onto Nutter.
Oh, but great pick there from Side in front to get Mikey out of the fight. Mikey had the Bob, which could potentially stall the card a little bit longer, but you have a lot to work with here if you're the Penkar Pusheens coming back in here. Only the High Noon as well as the Primary potentially knock him off the cart here. Wags getting himself in position to not allow them access to this high ground here. Pretty good spot for him right now. Ox looking to put those High Noon in from the high ground as well. As Ripple falling very weak, Purple Jesus goes down, and here comes a High Noon from the back, and yes, it will find 3 Ox! That's a massive play from Ox on the high ground, and I said they only had 2 ults to work with, and they only had to use 1 to get the final push through A. A huge play from Ox on the flank.
There it is. It's going to be permanent overtime now, but you've gotten that point. You're now at a 4-3. That's everything that you wanted from the Phiji Phrogs. Mikey almost able to take Ox down, but the High Noon went off at the perfect time to prevent that from happening. So the Pusheens now task, stop the bleeding, 1 fight win, and you've got this. The Death Blossom from the Reaper and the Diva Bomb should be more than enough, but you have to be careful.
Here comes Primal Rage from Wags in the back. Has the Nano Boost, but it does not matter as Nathan will clean up 2 with the Death Blossom. Frog tries to respond in the kill feed, but does not matter if you cannot touch the cart. But the Phiji Phrogs, you get halfway through point B with a 1:48 time bank. You are very satisfied with that, especially with how easily Nimbani A can be held. You're licking your chops, looking to go up potentially 3-0 already and sends to a match point in our grand finals.
I've kind of given up on correcting you from Nimbani to Gibraltar,
No.
because we all know what you mean, my dear Booney. It is okay. We all have this map present in our minds, both the one that we're playing right now and the one that was just played. Very, very different styles of Overwatch, but very, very similar results that we are seeing now.
I'm obviously trying to make you feel better about forgetting what Gibraltar existed in the first place by constantly referring to it as Nimbani.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. The Pusheens, they're gonna go back to their comfort composition. There you go. They tried that Ashe Reaper, and the Reaper, I think, might have been a good choice instead of taking that duel against the Sonic Ronic Soldier 76. It is, in fact, going to be exactly the other way around now. Sonic Ronic on the Reaper and Nathan on that Soldier 76. Mikey back on his trademark Echo. We'll have to see what kind of performance we get from them, but I'm sure it's going to be an absolute show. On the other side, Orisa Hog. Curious composition from the Phrogs.
For point A, defense on Nimbani, it's not the worst. You can control this little room here, control the high ground, blue box especially. And if you just gotta start from game point A. So you can control server room, you can control blue box, you can control the high ground area. You have a lot to work with this double shield composition. I like this swap here, this adaptation, because the dive defense wasn't working out in your favor here. So this could be the secret sauce that you need to potentially bring us to a match point. And yes, Nudge is going to go down after a nice hook from Faroodles. The slam does come through from Purple Juice, but falls very weak for it. Almost pays for it with his own life, but will get out with his life as the car continues to move under the underpass here. And I think we're going to get this kind of area I want this double shield to kind of specialize in, as the cart just emerges from underneath here. This high ground control for the double shield could be what the doctor ordered. A nice pull out from Wags on to Mikey, but they're going to get nuttier again. Nuttier. 2 deaths on this attack already. Not looking stellar here after that Lijiang performance. And they're going to lose Ribro's mech out as well. So this double shield holding strong up here, because they can't really knock Wags off this position because Ox is up there with the flashbang for Purple Jesus, and he gets killed yet again. And this defense continues to get better and better as the time draws on.
Yeah, and Purple Jesus, I know I'm not as good of a player as you are, and I'm never going to be probably, but man, that's not how you play Wrecking Ball, at least not with how your team is doing. You're just going on long flanks and barely having any effect on them. I mean, if you get at least one sneaky pick or a lot of damage done, but look at that, you're just selling your team. Fruitles is going to get the one on the whole hog. Sonic Ronic is taken down though by Mikey, but it looks like once again this is going to be a fight win for the Phrogs on the defense.
Purple Jesus tries to get a cheeky little C9 in there, but not quite going to work out. But does get some progress. And Mikey comes in with the duplicate on the Cassidy, but gets taken out immediately. Gets flashed up, and Ox gets the final blow as well. Ox and the Cassidy looking kind of disgusting right now. They will trade out Frog, but I don't think it's going to be nearly enough, as the window on the high ground from Mufflumps is enough to pelt out the damage. And not a lot of things happen. I do want to point out, though, on that first fight, we had a pull whole hog on the Tactically Bison Soldier. So that's the tank synergy there I want to see from the Phrogs. A great play. You can take it from here.
Oh, absolutely. Not the usual synergy that we're used to, as in that weird competition we were talking about before, but you explained it perfectly right there. They are making it work just exactly as it's meant to be, but now they have to be careful. They have to remember to go onto the cart.
They get it with 1.82 meters remaining. Sonic Ronic uses the Death Blossom. Not quite gonna find anything, but Fruitles finds the opening pick here for his team. Nathan taking on a fight that high ground control. Basically gone now as a soldier has taken a fight. Another hook here from Fruitles, but the DM from Ribro will keep Frosty in the fight here. Wags Supercharger finds literally nothing as it gets exploded by Mikey, but they can't touch. They C9. They got the picks in their favor, and it's gonna go either way. But yeah, they can't quite get the kills, but they get the kills here. They might be able to stop the attack anyway, for it goes even through the doors of Point B of Watch Point Gibraltar. I said it right this time, but Fruitles also was that whole hog, could knock on the point, but Mikey gets in the back line. Mikey gets the kill on the Frog, and Nathan and Mikey find 3 kills and open Point B up like a can of tuna. And you know, cats like tuna, so that was clever in some way.
Could this be it? Could we get a draw not only in the previous map in Numbani, but in this series? I think it is going to be. There it is, a Wrecking Ball trying to go for the star, but the picks go in favor of the Pusheens. That might be the 1-1 in this series. There it is, someone trying to be there on the car. They have to be careful not to commit one of those famous Charlie 9ers, but Purple Jesus laying down the mines on the field. Nathan getting the kill onto Wags, and I think this is going to be it. Sonic Ronic bringing one back. But there it is. It is going to be the Pokhara Pusheens getting their map victory in Gibraltar. They were very close in Numbani, and it was only a majestic performance from the Phrogs that took the victory away from them. Not this time.
Yeah, I mean, when we go these kind of dive center max, both these teams look so even. You know, we saw Numbani, we saw Watch Point Gibraltar go very close both ways. And again, like you said a draw in the series. We're at map 4 with a 1-1 scoreline. This game could not get any closer as we head to potentially a 2CP or another hybrid. I assume the Pusheens would not want to veto this because we'd see King's Row, but we'll have to wait and see what we see. The teams are going to call a bio, and for that reason alone, I'm going to call a quick pause on the production. We're going to send y'all to a break screen with some music playing in the background. Give the cast some time to get our voice back, get some water. You out there viewing, get some water yourselves. We're going to be here a while. See you there in this break.
These beats are the purest. Prove it, prove it. beats are the purest. Prove it, prove it.
Welcome back, everybody. From the break, we gave ourselves a bit of a respite, a bit of a bio break, but we are back here with Map 4 with a 1-1 scoreline, and we're going to Temple of Anubis, which I cannot guarantee I'll remember the name of as we start playing.
I mean, I think my hate for 2CP is gonna be more than enough to remind me of what this map is called. But we'll have to see. I have to say I have not missed this game mode. Watching Overwatch League without it is so nice, and really not looking forward to seeing it here in this grand finals match. But sometimes you gotta make some sacrifices if you want great Overwatch. You gotta take some L's, and so we're gonna see this assault map, this 2CP game mode that we know is so loved by the community. Note the irony. And who do you think is going to take the crown here, Mr. Booney? Because it could go literally any way. I mean, the Pusheens have the momentum, but the Phiji Phrogs have been the superior team for quite a longer part of the series.
Yeah, this map comp plays into both teams' almost strengths. You can play the dive comp here, you can play a brawly style, you can play double shield. I think Temple of Anubis out of most 2CP maps has the most diversity in terms of comps you can actually play and find success on. But from what I've seen so far this season, the Phiji Phrogs have been almost nigh unstoppable on Temple of Anubis. The Wags on the Monkey and Frog, on sometimes the Ana, but gonna start off on perhaps on the Lucio here. But when we get this divey style on the attack for the Frogs, look out, Frog and Wags are pretty stellar on this point of A, especially B. So we'll have to see if the Pusheens can, give us this ability to see point B, because as we all know, 2CP is a magical game mode, which you can only see half the map sometimes. So, hey, you know what? You said you hate 2CP, but let's just be honest. Thank God it ain't Volskaya, all right? Let's get that.
Oh.
Let's here, all right? Let's just say it's not Volskaya.
Truth be told, yes. We have a little bit of magic here in these type of games. I never thought of it like that, and of course, thank God it's not Volskaya. I don't think I could bear seeing that, and I don't think anyone else in this lobby could. So we're gonna see the same good, all reliable composition that's been working so well for the Pusheens, and with momentum on their side. On the other hand, the Frogs, you said, so proficient in this map, are going to go back to the Reinhardt Diva. But look at that. They have already taken 3 casualties. And what do you know? It is Mikey leading the way.
A great opening pick there from Nathan as well on a Muffin Lumps. Get that immortality field out of the fight, and Nuttier follows up with a fantastic nade on that the 3 group back there that Purple Jesus was allowed to slam in on. So a great looking dive to begin with here, and now Frog just trying to get out with his life. I mean, Frog is in point A spawn for the attackers right now, trying to take out a Mercy.
Oh my God!
They're just gonna leave him behind. They're gonna go. They say, okay, you can hang out in our spawn. We'll go take your point here on B.
This is going to be such. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe this situation. Frog is eventually gonna try to get back to his team, and he's gonna do so successfully. If out of all characters, Lucio is the worst to get stuck on a different part of the map. And fortunately, look at that, the defense Ox is coming through, and Frog himself with a 2-piece right there. So between all of them, they get those 5. Frog trying to get another 3-piece in the fight, and maybe it's going to come through. No, it's just going to be the D-Mech. But very, very good showing from the Phiji Phrogs here in the group and the defensive fight.
I mean, Purple G has just got the wrecking ball experience right there. He got pulled, flash banged, and about melted in 20.8 milliseconds. So you gotta feel bad for the guy there, as this Orisa comp might be the answer here for the Wrecking Ball. But we do have the Nano here, as well as Mikey with duplicates, so we could run in here, very aggressive, look to potentially get a hook here from Wags, or perhaps even a duplicate from Mikey. Here comes a slam, and it's a big one there. Building up towards that minefield, but Ribro gets the first kill, the first blood on Sonoronic, and now Nathan is there with the tactical visor. The Nano has been invested. I don't see who exactly went on to, but they kicked Wags out of the fight as well, and now there's only one Roadhog on the field as Mikey in the duplicate. Ribro has that bomb, but not quite going to find anything but a remech here. Pro Jesus is still not in the fight, but Mikey has the whole hog, but here comes Ox with the high noon, but gets booped away with the whole hog from Mikey. Frutal's going to fall late here as well. Frog will be there for a last-second contest, but can they get anything done here? No, a big boop from Purple Jesus knocks him off the point. 4 minutes and 22 seconds here for the attackers.
2CP speedrun any percentage? I don't even know what to say. 422?
That's all you can say.
But might as well be casuals against pros. I really don't know what to say, and this puts the Phrogs in a very, very dangerous situation. Because, you know, we've got that 1-1 in the series, so no series point just quite yet. But after that great start that they had with the victory on Lijiang Tower in 3, then that great push with and holding the Pusheens to 0 on Numbani, 0 seconds, not 0 points of capture. But then the Pusheens find that magical defense on Numbani, whittling down almost 3 minutes. Then they get the victory here on Gibraltar, almost when it seemed like the Phrogs had it. And now the Anubis speedrun. I don't know what to say, but the Phrogs ain't looking too hot, man.
Yeah, but now we got Frog on this Ana. We're probably going to see Wags whip out that Winston. And, I mean, the attack is kind of where they put their bread and butter here on Anubis, so it's not over just yet if you are a fan of the Fiji Phrogs. The Pusheens looking to kind of counter this with a double shield setup with the Torbjorn. I mean, the Torbjorn is mostly there to stop Ox from being a nuisance, which it kind of is doing right now. Ox is standing still in the corner. Can't really do too much. But now the Phrogs getting in position here for this dive. The pull comes through. Wags smartly does not use that jump just as of yet. Waits for the pull. And now it's probably waiting for more cooldowns and Ox to get into position here. The rock laid down into Wags. Wags has to use a bubble. This could delay even more time here off this attack. This initial setup. Ox is in position though. So this could be the go button that the Pusheens are looking for. Wags looking to jump here, but gets booped down. Not exactly sure what for. Maybe just hit the bridge. Couldn't quite land where he wanted. And this is a minute already off the clock here, and really nothing has been accomplished for the Fiji Phrogs.
Yeah, and it's such a great prediction from the Pusheens, knowing that Tracer is going to be played, that they want to go for that fast dive. And so you just bring out the Torbjorn off the gate. You don't really give them any chance. Sonic Ronic, though, gonna take down Nathan, and it's gonna have to be Mikey taking down Wags to sort of even things out. The turret is out of the fight. And it seems like the Pusheens are able to hold here, with Mikey, of course, going absolute mad. I mean, before that fight, I think the total final blows for the Pusheens was sitting somewhere at around 7. Now Mikey is almost at that amount just on his own. So that's what we were talking about, MVP caliber performance. But Oaks gets that pulse bomb kill, so maybe something interesting here.
Yeah, and both tankers being invaded here as Ribro uses the Gravitic Flux, will take down the Wrecking Ball. The Supercharger is still online for Purple Juice on the point. Sonic forced to use that Wraith a bit early here, and now forced in a 1v1 against the God Reset in a small room, and he's not going to win that, ladies and gentlemen. As the tank line for the Pusheens there, Mikey fell early in that fight, but it does not seem to matter as Ribro and Purple Jesus have decided to come online and get all the kills here. A great showing from them, and 1 minute 50 seconds in the time bank, and really nothing accomplished so far on the Phrogs map pick here.
Yeah, and you really have to wonder, what is happening? Is it, I don't know, a mental problem in here? Like, are we talking lack of confidence? Or are we talking, I don't know, being boomed? Or simply an in-game diff? Because, yes, the Pusheens are playing well, but are they playing that much better? You look at that. Both opening picks from the side of the Phrogs.
Both opening picks, but Mikey will use duplicate as well as Nathan using that molten core on the point. We'll take a bit of space here. Frost takes the rest on Nuttier as well. So that back in the fight, here comes a duplicated Reaper, all the Death Blossom. Not gonna find anything, but is really gonna. Oh, Ox with a 2K pulse bomb. 3K if it got the turret. I will. Turret lives matter. And Wags comes in with a swing through onto Mikey. Fly Swatter activated, and Ox cleans up the final blows here. He's earned this one. He's earned the stat padding. And the Phrogs, just as we mentioned, them looking a bit rough here in their attack, the lack of confidence, they whip out. Og just says, all right, here's a 2K pulse bomb.
Yeah, but look at that. That fight took so long. And it is the Pusheens still holding on. That's what we were talking about. Like, it's definitely not an in-game diff. It has to be something else. But maybe if it's a confidence problem, as you said, that kill from Ogs, that multi-kill from Ogs, and those kills from Phrog onto Mikey, and maybe these staggers are what they need to regain the confidence. And Minefield goes onto the backline. Look at that. It is just everything going well for the Phrogs right now, but the time bank is going to be very, very hard to match. Point is being captured, all the players in the respawn, and there you go. 2 minutes, 2 points for the Phiji Phrogs. 2 points, sorry. 3 minutes and a half for the Pokhara Pusheens. Very big difference, but the Phrogs may be showing signs of life in here.
And I mean, that goes back. I believe it was Phrog who got the opening pick on a Mikey there. And, you know, it forces Ribro to come up and try to get his Mercy out of there. You know, perhaps guard the res, but it doesn't come through either. And Ribro gets killed as well. So his 2 opening picks on point B are exactly what the Phrogs ordered to get that time bank. And it's very similar here on 2CP. You know, a minute and a half. That's maybe one more solid fight. You get another desperation contest. But, you know, you can work with this there. And you know, the swaps seem to be working here for the side of the Phiji Phrogs. You get Muffin Lumps onto that Zenyatta, able to Discord Mikey in the sky and melt down that Echo a lot quicker through the Mercy Pocket, as well as Wags getting way more aggressive on his Wrecking Ball compared to the Winston, able to survive a lot more in the face of the double shield comp. So I would say some great adaptation coming through here for the side of the Phiji Phrogs, and we're not going to see really any changes for the Pokhara Pusheens. They're sticking with what worked, and that could be their downfall if the Phrogs have figured out a way to crack the code.
Yeah, exactly. And what I'm finding really curious in here is Muffin Lumps. Earlier we saw the Brigitte, now we're seeing the Zenyatta. Not the usual picks that we have seen before from this team, but definitely working right there. Wags on the Wrecking Ball, as you said, curious pick, but the defense is holding strong for the Pusheens. Or at least it so seemed to happen in the previous fight. This is almost a repeat of what we just had. It is the exact same situation, but will it be the exact same result, or will the Pusheens be able to hold until the very, very end?
I mean, Wags and Ferutals just going hyper aggressive here on these tanks. They're feeding Frog, so it's all charged. Frog has this nano boost here already for this engagement as Wags looking to go in. The Discord orb is placed up on Purple Jesus, so the horse flying very weak here. But so many critical members right now of the Phiji Phrogs. Mikey and Ribro just pelting in that spam dance from a distance, and they're going to get Wags out early. That's the person they want to look for the nano boost. So that's a pretty big stagger here. Now, 1 minute remaining. Any more kills here is devastating for the Frogs attack. They have to get out alive here. It looks like they're trying. Now they're gonna chill, so it's not the worst thing.
Now just down to 1 minute and counting down. By the time they engage next time, it might be down to 30 seconds.
I mean, yeah, Frutals just can't quite find the hooks here in the face of 2 shields, and Ribro uses a flux, and it's a huge one. We'll find Muffin Lumps in the back, so Discord Orb is complete out of the fight now. Frog uses that nano boost. And yeah, just the picks here are heavily in favor of the Pokhara Pusheens as Prodigious lays down that supercharger, the tank ults. Bring this fight back heavily in their favor, and now they have the Molten Core as well as Duplicate, so both DPS ults to try to stop this last-second contest. I mean, Frutals and Ox will have their ults, but will it be enough here, as Nutter can basically counter both with 1 Immortality Field?
Yeah, and such a great job from Mikey isolating Ox and Wags from the rest of the team, and Frutals as well. Then when the respawn came through, you're basically having a 3v5 on one side of the map and a 3v1 on the other. Sonic Ronic is taken down. There's the Duplicate, there's the Molten Core. It's going to be everything going well for the Pokhara Pusheens. Maybe this overtime timer is going to be extended. Not gonna happen. And there we have it. No points, no ticks gained whatsoever for the Phiji Frogs. So now 3 minutes and 28 seconds for the Pokhara Pusheens to find a 33% of progress and to put themselves in the lead for the first time here in these Gopherwatch League Season 5.5 Grand Finals.
And yeah, I mean, what we saw there from the Fiji Frogs, that last rotation, I actually really liked that rotation. You kind of avoid the sightlines of the Torbjorn as well as the tanks, but just sadly, Sonic was forced to use that Wraith form very early in the fight, so he got picked out as he's trying to chase after his Wrecking Ball up on the high ground. So I'd say good rotation, just, we didn't execute the way Coach drew it up, and, we paid the price for that. So I think that a good call from them, but just that didn't quite work out as the cooldown management wasn't quite there. Mikey able to clean up that final blow. And now we're seeing a very similar setup here on the defense for the Fiji Frogs as well from their first attempt. And, they're hoping to duplicate the same success we just saw from the Pusheens. But with 3 minutes and 28 seconds and one tick needed, you could literally play, a 6 ult fight if you wanted, but I don't recommend it. It never really works. But you have a chance to build a pretty substantial ult bank, and just one pick could be all you need to take this lead in our grand finals. Again, like you said, the first time they've had this entire series, and it all goes back to that Numbani draw and that Numbani 2 victory on Point Gibraltar. As we go forward here, Wags tries to get that pull on this rotation, but a nicey from Ribro. Nathan falling extremely weak, though. Nathan will get healed up, just barely staying alive there. Fitting over Frosty some of that delicious ult charge. Look at what is Nuttier doing. Nuttier is doing a distracted Torp Turret challenge, and it's working out extremely well, as here comes Pro just with the slam, as well as Mikey with those sticky bombs. So a good start here. They do lose out on Mikey, but they trade out for Wags, so a great pick here for the Pokhara Pusheens, especially since they got the res here onto Mikey with the Echo back in the fight and no second shield for the Frogs to stay behind. Oh, they lose some Pro G, so both main tanks are out of the fight right now. Rock is not quite going to find anything from Frutals, as both teams are just spamming out, building up towards ultimates, I suppose, building up towards that final fight. But, I mean, I would maybe have liked to see the go button get pressed there if you're the Pokhara Pusheens. They will get to kill the Frog. You will get to speak eventually here, but the teams are still fighting and still trading, as Mikey's going to go down as well. So the DPS for DPS right now, Ribro kind of fighting 2v1 here in the Mega Room. They are going to lose on him. They get the res on a Mikey, so now it's a 5v5 on the point by Mikey. Again with the Resurrect, gets back and takes down Mufflumps and Wags as well. Mikey is going bananas right now, and somehow Frosty is able to stay alive. Gets that Guardian Angel back to Nathan on the high ground. Here comes Sonic with the Moncor on the point, but Nathan and Mikey are there to clean up the blows and clean up the point and send us to a 2-1 scoreline in favor of the Pusheens. And by the way, you're allowed to talk now.
There we go. Thank you very much. That was some amazing casting, I have to say. It's always a delight, and especially with such great gameplay that we're seeing here. When Mikey goes down in that last fight for the first time, I have to say, it seemed like it was kind of done for the Pusheens, because we know it's been really their X factor. Look at that, almost 30% of the team's hero damage. But really, when that resurrection comes through from Frosty, also we didn't mention the swap from Bronx to Frosty, really seamless transition between the Mercies, really doing that great job of pocketing Mikey. The resurrection comes through, the Echo is alive once again, and Mikey says, hey, I messed up the first time, I only got one pick, let's get back to our old habits. Goes up, gets 2, gets 3, wins the point, and puts his team on in the lead, and now just 2 games away from the claiming victory here in the grand finals, or should I say 2 game victories away, because we all know how this game works and how sometimes we might have to take a little bit more to reach that champion medal.
Yeah, that Core Wells trophy is looking very enticing for both these teams. But I mean, a storyline we gotta look at here is a lot of these players are fighting for their first championship. We have Ox is fighting for his first. He's been here since Season 1. He's part of the Season 0 victors, but of course, we don't really count that. But got there to Season 1 as part of the Sweaty Gamers, or Smelly Gamers, I believe, and or Sweaty Gamers, yeah, I was correct, but just could not quite get the victory against the Mongolian Muskies. And then you got players like Purple Jesus and Mikey and Nuttier, who have been so close so many times, and now they're finally here. They're tasting it. It's so close. I mean, Mikey Mikey went against Frog in season 3 when the Gaming Golems took home the victory. And Mikey was on the Wakanda BBQs. That went the full distance. That was at game 8, game 9, whatever that I casted, and that was an insane match. So now it looks like yet again Mikey and Frog are bringing us another banger of a grand finals. And there's a lot on the line here. Can we see Frogs and Wags kind of solidify themselves as Gopherwatch legends here, getting their second championships, getting their second rings? Can this team, which has some problems in the beginning of the season, using a lot of ringers to the playoffs, can they make this, improbable run? It seems, not really having the same team in every week, but they're still putting it to this squad. And the Pusheens have just been this solid all-around team the entire year. Really, no hiccups from them, and able to bring it home in the losers finals against the Ice and Imps, our #1 seed. So a lot of storylines here, a lot of action, but not a lot of match chat going on right now. So we don't exactly know where we're going, but we'll have to wait and see. It is going to be our second control map, I believe, here for map 5.
It is indeed time for control. You would usually expect that map 5 to be the closer on a series, but we're barely getting to series point. That would be if the Pokhara Pusheens were able to find a victory in there. But we saw how the previous one went. It went the way of the Phiji Phrogs in quite convincing fashion as well. So you've got to wonder, it begs the question, now what is going to happen? I mean, momentum is clearly gone all to the side of the Pusheens, but this might very well be the dominant game mode from the Phiji Phrogs. So, very curious situation, my friend Booney. Do you have the gall? Do you have the audacity to venture and give me a prediction here for this map number 5?
Oh, it's going to be very hard. A lot of control points do favor, the Brawly style, so I could see it both working, but also Dive and Double Shield are pretty strong in control as well. So it really all depends where the Frogs decide to take us. You could go Oasis, which is very strong with University Brawl, but then you leave the 2 Dive, the City Center, as well as I forget the other one that's outside. But it's going to be pretty hard to go on Oasis. Then you go to Busan, you have 2 pretty decent Brawl maps with Mecha Base especially. But then you open your way to the Brawl comps on both downtown. I mean, it's just there's really nowhere to go where you can just say, can we go full Brawl here? Perhaps Nepal is your best bet, but we just saw the Pokhara Pusheens win Nepal last time they faced the Ice and Imps in the winners or the losers finals. So there really is nowhere good to go to just specialize in the Brawl. I'm feeling the momentum has shifted here. There's a lot less chatter coming in from the Phiji Frogs. And we are going over onto Oasis, which I guess the outside one, which I can't remember the name of, you had the chance to play Brawl there. So again, most control maps, you got that one really strong Brawl area. The second one was like, yeah, you can play it, but not probably the best selection. And the third one's like, oh god, if you play this, you are absolutely trolling. But Oasis probably your best bet. Is also a map that a lot of teams have played in Scrim so far this season. So could just be a comfort selection here for the Phiji Frogs. And again, really nowhere good to go on control, so can't fault them for the selection.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes around those 3 points. City Center, Garden, and I am forgetting the other one right now, and University, of course. All
Okay, we're
3.
2 halves of the same idiot, Aliagator, because I couldn't remember Garden. So there you go.
There we go.
Combine
There we go.
all 3 and perhaps remember what map we're playing. We just need to combine our combined powers here.
Yeah. I think we can get like half and half done. But really, it's not really gonna cut it for a half and half here for the Frogs. They're gonna have to go all out. If they get a favorable situation for that Brawl, probably University is going to be their best bet for that one. Maybe city center, but they have to be careful because we've seen how dangerous Nutter is with those boops. And we know Oasis, while not such a boop paradise as Lee Jae Tower or Lee Chang Tower, as it's technically called in the game, and Ilios, it is still very, very prone to these situations. Now we're gonna get our first point in here, and what do you know? It is one of the biggest boop points right on this part of the map. We all know the balcony that I'm talking about. So, will we see Nutter pop off and see the Pusheens go to series point, or are the Phiji Phrogs going to be able to bounce back and put it at 2-2?
It's certainly up in the air, especially starting on Gardens, which is the half and half point I was talking about. So we could see. I mean, if a team wins this one, the next point of Oasis could easily flip it back for the other side. So who really knows what we're going to see here? But I think if we go to that third point, we are going to see a decisive victory for one of these teams on map 5 to send to potentially a match point or a 2-2 tie. But we have the same comp again for the Bangkok Pusheens. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the biggest swap here for the side of the Phiji Frogs is Ock going to be playing the Mei character on Gardens, which is something you don't usually see, but it could potentially throw the Phiji, or potentially throw the Pusheens off here. As we start to move forward here, Mikey, 21% already to duplicate a huge sticky mines, and an early immortality is forced out as Nathan takes down Faroodle's mech. So they're able to go highly aggressive here. Oh, Ripper flying pretty weak, but the boot from Nutter, as you mentioned, not going to get anything off the map, but is going to get him off that high ground. Ox forced to use that ice block extremely early, and Wags gets melted down by Mikey's Echo focusing beam here. Ox flying very weak, has no ice block, and there you go. They just surrounded them. They had nowhere to go but the spawn room, as, I mean, I don't know what to call it, a dive, more so as they just fell right in front of you and you just kind of shot was right in front of you, but it works if you're the Pusheens.
Exactly, and you said it perfectly. If it ain't broke, there's no need to fix it. Don't touch it, whatever you want to call it. And I don't dislike the Mei pick here from Oaks. It's just I don't think that is a right way to play it. You can't really wait that much to use the wall. You gotta use it to get yourself some space, block off a member or two, or to trap them very, very close in here. Get yourself an advantage pick, or maybe clear the mines here that were just dropped by Purple Jesus. But holding on that much, I don't think is going to be the recipe for success. But Sonic Ronic is going to be there to take down Broggs, who is once again in for Frosty. And Fruitle's taking down Purple Jesus. Maybe will allow the Frogs to push.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, a nice flank from Sonic Ronic. It's actually going to shut down Nathan, and they're going to use the B here from Nuttier. Frog going to respond with one of their own. So Mikey still has duplicated Diva here, has the bomb on point, potentially turnable, as Mikey's found Sonic Ronic as well. The Blizzard gets thrown down by Ox, but nobody looks to be caught in it just as of yet, but Pro Juice really has nowhere to go except into Wag's loving embrace. But the Arcus out here, Frog going down, and as this is going on, the point favor is just ticking up and up here for the Pusheens, and Pro Juice is res back in the fight. The res diff is coming in here. Wags loses out that shield. Fruz has a bomb in the back, but gets nothing and goes off the map. I think that the animation knocked him off the map. As Nutter gets a boop on a Muffalump as well. This fight's gone on for so long, and the Pusheens have held the point for the entire time, and now we're at last fight territory with 89% and counting here, and no ults to work with, really, for either side that could flip a point by itself.
And really, I don't know, we gotta create a saying here, a staple in the Gopherwatch League, because these grand finals have shown us something. If Mikey is alive, there is still hope. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Finally gonna get taken down by Wags, and maybe that collective 3-piece is going to allow them to get those first points off percentage. Not if you charge into the mines, and with Purple Jesus still in there and no heals whatsoever for Wags, it looked like it was going to be a bit hard in that moment, but finally the point is going to flip in their favor. But still, you had to take down Mikey. There was a 10 elim streak right there, hadn't died at all in this game of Oasis. Clearly the clutch factor, clearly the X player for the Pusheens. And for me, if you're the Frogs right now, you just play to shut down Mikey, especially because the duplicate is coming online. It's already online.
Yeah, the high end and Blizzard to beat to work with here, though, so very doable shut down Mikey. Mikey falling pretty weak there. The headshot from Sonic Ronic, a flashbang there on a Purple Jesus. Stops that roll through, but here comes kind of that split off here that we were talking about. Nathan has his tactical visor, trying to get something done. The high noon from Sonic run against nothing really, but some zoning. Never mind, we'll find Rubro's mech, so a good high noon there. Takes down the Diva mech. As they start to move forward here, the Pusheens looking to try to take any point control, and it looks like they will with a huge smash there on the Muffin Lumps. The bad bees out of fight here. Bronx and Nutty are both using both their support ults at the same time. Sonic Ron playing very well, will go down as Mikey's still hot on his duplicate, might not even need it. Ox using that blizzard there, trying to get anything done, but it doesn't look, I mean, the Pusheens play so busted apart, you know, they're never together. The blizzard ray has no value to find, and Nathan gets another final blow here. Nathan has been absolutely popping off on the soldier on this point, especially the final blows have been coming in absolute mass for him as his last fight territory, last touch territory, and they're not going to be able to get it as the Pusheens go up 1-0 on map 5.
Absolutely wonderful stuff right there from the Pusheens. You can clearly see they've got the momentum on their side. I know I've said it before a lot of times that, you know, I might even be getting repetitive, but we just gotta say things like they are. Momentum is on the side of the Pusheens, and the Phrogs are mentally boomed. So much so that Ox is bringing out the Sombra. This character we hadn't even been close to seeing in the entire series, and now we're gonna play Sombra Dive. I feel like this is the biggest exponent of the mental situation of the Phrogs. This is either genius or madness, but either genius or madness is what they need right now, because one more round and the Pusheens will be on series and basically championship point.
I mean, I like the idea of the Sombra to shut down the Wrecking Ball, but at the same time, you get rid of your Cassie, your hardcore hit scan to deal with Mikey in the sky as Nathan finds Mufflins early, and they lose out on Frutal's mech as well. So, I mean, Ox is trying to get the hack on the Wrecking Ball, but there's just so much damage you can't get it off. And the picks are coming heavily here in favor of the Pokhara Pusheens as Wags goes off the map. Maybe just a quick reset, but the Sombra didn't find the value they wanted there as Mikey, so close duplicate already.
Yeah, and Nathan as well, you were highlighting their performance as Soldier 76, and as you said, that damage, there is so much random damage coming in through here that you are barely going to be able to get any hacks as Sombra. You're just gonna have to go for the biggest flank, go around on the backline and try to find one. I don't even know who you would want to hack, maybe the Lucio, there we see it, but really, nothing there's to be done. A pause is being called for. So I don't really know what's gonna happen in here.
Will come after the team fight. That's the problem here. They got quickly reset. Mikey gets the duplicate as well. Has that EMP, but they do for the point here. The Phrogs actually keep the point.
Okay.
Somehow they called for pause, and it must have thrown off the Pusheens because the Phrogs are taking the point, and they look they're gonna hold it.
I can tell you, the Pusheens are not the only confused ones. I don't know. Apparently someone's game crashed. I'm thinking it has to be someone on the side of the Phrogs. Because that was the side that the pause was called from. But really, who's not in the fight right now?
Maybe Sonic Ronic? I'm not exactly so sure whose game crashed. Because Wags just jumped back, so he's here. I see Ox right off my. We're getting some eyes from the sky. It's potentially for Roodles, potentially Ox, but we didn't see anybody to leave, so it looks like the alt points are going to be maintained here. So especially with Ox there, 85% to his EMP, that would have been pretty devastating. But Frog still has this beat. A lot of ults to use for the side of the Pusheens as well. We have Nathan using that tactical visor. So, I mean, this fight might not be over just as of yet, but it looks pretty heavily in favor of the Phiji Phrogs here. They do the point. The beat is invested from Frog here as well, as look to clear this final little contestant from the Pusheens. And it looks like it's going to quite work out in their favor, as that beat was just enough to win the day.
Bit of a weird situation right there, but we've gotten over it, and now We go at it again. The Pusheens still in the lead. The Phrogs with a lot of ultimates coming up online. Almost 5 right there. The EMP is going to be massive. Catches onto 4. And that is going to be... It has to be a collapse from the Pusheens. Right?
Oh.
Right, Purple Jesus?
I mean, maybe the 4-man EMP is pretty huge, but Purple Jesus returns those 2 kills in kind. And now Nutter has the beat to counter this coalesce out from Muffin Lumps. The bomb is invested out. Not going to find anything. Rubo's bomb finds Muffin Lumps from inside the tower. Excuse me, the walls are there. Anyway, Ox forced to retreat, and they invest. Bronx used that Valkyrie as well. Fools lose out on their mech. So, despite a nice early EMP, gets 4 members, 2 kills from Purple Jesus. He might have stabilized his, but Sonic Rock comes back with the Reaper ult. We'll find Nuttier. So, potentially winnable here as Wags is in on this Primal Rage, can stall forever, and gets a kill on Nathan as well. So it's not quite done yet. Ripple is going to get hacked outside mech. He has no D-Matrix. Ripple finding Sting Weak, and Purple Jesus cannot stay alive in the face of Sonic Rock's Reaper with no defense matrix for his side. And somehow, this fight still is in favor of the Frogs the whole time, and they're saying 6%.
Yeah, I was going to say the Pusheens were doing the same things that we were praising the Frogs for at the beginning of the series. Just winning those fights that went on for longer. But such a great stall from Wags using that Primal Rage at just the perfect moment before going down allows Sonic Ronic to come back, to get that ultimate out, then gets the kill. And basically puts everything in favor of the Frogs that once again are going to find themselves fighting here, but possession of the point is going to go over to the Pusheens.
Yeah, a bit of an overextension there from the Phiji Frogs. They go in an enemy spawn around 80% or so, 85%, so it's not last fight territory, so they get one more touch and they lose Wags in favor of that. And then Nathan, I don't know how to say it, but other than that, he just swags out, kills 3 people, and is able to get the Pusheens back in this fight here. And now look at the ult bank here.
Watch out for the
sides.
EMP.
Ox looking for it. Might try to get it out here, but Nathan uses that visor. The EMP negates the beat. Oh no, wait, that's Frog beat. Never mind. But here comes the mines out from Purple Jesus on the point. Basically blocks off one half of the point. Mikey used a duplicate here onto the Diva. Gonna have a bomb here soon. Sonic Ronic had to use that Wraith form very early, and Purple Jesus cleans up the kills by just swinging in like a mad lad. Ferruddles isolated, knocked into the mines. And it's going to fall very weak here. 86% had used the bomb, but won't get remeched in time, but gets the kill to Mikey. Mikey does a bit of Troy, ladies and gentlemen. But they are going to get the kill. Nathan onto Wags. And Frogs might get the last second touch, but Frog flying very weak here, forced to try to retreat. 2% remaining. Frogs will get the touch, yes, as Ox is there in the back end, but lose Sonic Ronic early. So now this is Muffins on the Moira, trying to stay alive on the point, but had to fade to point to get there. Not quite going to get that touch he wanted. And now Frog trying to jump around on this point, trying to stay alive. Wags uses that Primal Rage in the background, starts to isolate some people, isolates Nathan, gets that kill. Nutter uses that beat, but it's a little bit too late. Nathan's already fallen. Purple Jesus has the minefield. Could look to sail up here with the big one here, but the window is there, or the bubble is there just in time. And here comes Sonic Ronic with the Death Blossom, finds nothing. Another EMP from Ox, might look to use it. Ox, no, dies mid-cast! Can't quite get the EMP off. As Purple Jesus smacks his Sombra back to spawn, but Muffin Lumps has that coalescence to keep the team alive, keep Frog and Wags in this fight. Wags goes very aggressive in the backline. Frog, 90% to this beat, but might not even need it as Sonic Ronic gets a kill till his last second. Wags is going to go down, and Nathan, this is a very choppy back and forth fight, and then it kills 2. Nathan is swagging out. I don't know what else to say. Nathan has another visor, looks to invest it, and a big boot from Purple Jesus knocks him into sight of Nathan. Nathan might just clutch this out. Frog uses that beat. It's a 2-on-4 on point right now with the Diva and the Lucio. Falling very weak. Frogs cannot quite get the bomb built up just in time. Frogs losing out, and then Mechan gets taken down. Here comes Purple Jesus with 99% to his minefield. Could drop it down. Could block off any contesters. Yes, he does. But we do have Sonic Ronic returning on the Tracer, but he cannot quite touch the point. Will get taken out in the Mega Room as both DPS are going down here for the side of Phiji Frogs. Can Purple Jesus get the slam in onto the Frog guy? Yes, he can. The Frog staying alive somehow, just jumping around on the Mega Room, up by the cars, but it's not enough. As the Pusheens take map 5 of Oasis and go up 3-1 in our series. They are at series point, championship point.
And there it is, finally, after an overtime that lasted for eons. And as Nutter is saying in chat, Nathan is my dad. Nathan, the absolute hero of that fight. It isn't as flashy maybe as the ones that Mikey gets. You know, Mikey sometimes gets those 3 kills in quick succession, but Nathan in there gets 1, and then a little bit after gets another, and then a little bit after gets another. That constant damage, that Soldier 76 really stepping up the game. And if you were talking about the superior soldier, before in Sonic Ronic, I think Nathan has taken over that title officially after this ending to Oasis. And as you said, sending the Pusheens to championship point after coming down from the losers bracket, after losing the winners finals 3-1 to these Fiji Frogs. Now they are on the verge of doing it.
Yeah, I mean they're on the verge of doing it, and I don't think anybody could have put it better other than Nuttier there. Nathan is my dad, because that last point of City Center, Nathan gets those 3 kills at 99% for the favor of the Fiji Frogs to 41 or so for the favor of the Pusheens to flip it back in their hand, and then all of a sudden, it's just last fight territory. It seems the Frogs are pulling away with it. Then Nathan comes up clutch with a kill into Wags, builds that visor, gets 2 kills with it. I mean, that's a Nathan clutch right there. That is your first official Freddy Fazbear freaking frick of the match, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. He is living up to that elusive title that he earned, and he's looking like a pretty strong candidate here for Finals MVP if the Pusheens look to take this home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything is going well right now for the Pusheens, but it has to be the DPS that are the two best candidates for MVP right now. It is just such a massive performance from them. Yes, Purple Jesus is having his pop-off moments, and I have to say, a day and night improvement from that Watchpoint Gibraltar map, that Numbani map, and we were saying, where are you going? Those flanks are not flanks that you should be going on. Now, absolutely turn it around. It kind of reminds me of that storyline that we had last season with Fate on exactly the same character, learning Wrecking Ball with the Shanghai Dragons, on that first tournament against the Dallas Fuel, not quite there. Taking a bit longer than other main tanks to learn it, but then in the second tournament of the year, bang, it was there. It was the best Wrecking Ball in the world. I just see the similarity so clearly here for Purple Jesus, the same character, the same evolution arc. It is just everything, as I said, going well for the Pusheens right now. The Frogs are on their last ditch effort. I mean, championship point, they have to win 3 games in a row right now to take it home with them. We are already going to go into game 6. And if that were to happen, we would go to at least game 8. That draw really, really threw a wrench in our plans. To keep it short and clean, but it sometimes happens. And while we wait for the next map to come up, I have to say, Mr. Booney, what can the Fiji Frogs do right now? What is their pick? What are their options? Because I don't know. It seems like it's going to be desperation right now for them.
Yep, KR. That's about it. That's all I can really say. KR is the Frogs' best map. No,
Fair
I mean
enough.
it is very dominant for them. Their brawl looks very good. So maybe the Pusheens, this might be a really tough map for them to win. But if they're gonna do it, they have the momentum. They have everything in their favor right now, and a big switch up here for the Frogs composition. Ox going over on the off tank, which is his main role. Frog off support onto the DPS, and Ferrutal's the ringer off the OT onto the support role. So some big swaps coming in here for them. And now, can the Pusheens respond? I mean, I'm guessing the Pusheens aren't going to change a darn thing here. I don't say they should. Maybe Frosty comes in to play the BAP. I know Bronx is more of that kind of Lucio Mercy player, that main support specialist. So maybe that's the only swap we're going to see because Frosty is very proficient on the Baptiste. But yeah, I mean, as long as, like you said, Mikey and Nathan on his DPS, as long as they're there, it's doable, baby. We're at championship point here. The Core Wills Trophy might have a new place to call home. But and yes, Frosty's going to come in here
Indeed.
for Bronx. So that's
There we have it. There we have it. Hey, the biggest brain here on this Gopherwatch League stage, Mr. Booney himself absolutely called it. Frosty going to be coming in there, even though the substitutions that we've seen previously between those players have yielded the exact same result. Mercy being played alongside the Nuttier Lucio or Anna. Now going into King's Row, Scrim's Row, whatever you want to call it, we have the Frogs ready, probably talking over their strategy or how to deal with those composition changes that they just underwent. On the other side, the Pusheens, you've got to think their comms are relaxed. Maybe would they be a bit nervous about playing a dominant map for the Frogs? I really don't know with how well they've been playing they found the holy grail in that composition of theirs. Wrecking Ball, Diva for Purple Jesus and Rybro, respectively. Mikey on the Echo, Nathan on the Soldier 76. Absolutely untouchable. And then Frosty or Bronx on the Mercy, and Nutter to round it out on the Lucio or Anna. If it's not golden composition, it has to be pretty close to it.
Yeah, and it looks like the both teams are going to be here's me hang in here any moment now. But you know, we said that Golden Goose composition, that Wrecking Ball Echo comp, but we got to remember the Pusheens are a very good brawl team as well. It's not like, oh, instant lost brawl map. It's just the Phrogs are so good at the brawl, but now the confidence, the swagger, the overall just momentum is heavily in favor of the Pusheens right now, which that's all brawl is, which is just, can I walk over you? Will you allow me to do so? But hey, if you're going to bring it back, if you're going to start this not quite full reverse sweep, if you're going to start this, I don't know, reverse mop, I guess, if you are the Phiji Phrogs, this is going to be your comp to do so. This is going to be your bread and butter. If you're going out, at least go out with what got you here.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself if I tried. Perfect description of what is about to happen here in King's Row. We don't know if the Phrogs are going to go down, but if they do go down, they're not going to go down without a fight. And a very interesting fight that we're going to see from here. I don't know what to think about this. I mean, we've seen Rybro on the Zarya before and Purple Jesus. We know the Reinhardt is proficient, but they are going to fall into that Rush mirror. So as you said, they're not bad at it, but do you really want to play Rush against the best Rush team probably here in the Gopherwatch League?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. They do take the space pretty early, though. Wags gets booped in. Immortality Field is forced out early from both sides, but Wags can go down first as Mikey on the Doomfist able to put out a lot of work, a lot of damage. Nathan following up with the Storm Arrows from afar. And a tick already claimed, but it looks like point A will be claimed. So Ribbo is just walking in enemy spawn right now by himself. Finally, teammates will join him. And yeah, it looks like point A will be captured, and a pretty darn good start here for the Pusheens.
Oh, that was such a beautiful slam from Mikey. That supercharged punch. Sonic Ronic was trying to get away, and maybe if you allow the Reaper to regroup, you can't push that far into the spawn as they're doing right now, as they were doing in just a little bit, which gives you so much more payload proccers. I mean, they could have basically gotten it past this choke point, and they have basically done so. They were very, very close to it. And now look at that. Purple Jesus, just with the Giga Chat pins, takes down Wags. And is there any wrong that the Pusheens can do right now?
It doesn't look like as Ribbo's walking forward, just beaming down for Roodles. I mean, Frog comes back to the point here. They use the grab, but I don't think it catches onto anybody. It doesn't. But they do win the fight, so I guess not the end of the world. That wall ain't going anywhere, Frog. Best of luck trying to get around that way, huh? But yeah, probably not how they drew it up, but they do get the stagger here on a Frog. And I will point out, you put in Frog, I don't think anybody would argue, the most mechanically gifted player on this team. Onto May. This might be a bit of a soft throw here for the Phiji Phrogs.
Yeah, it's certainly a questionable decision. Now, Rybro as well, maybe gonna regret not having this grab, but with how far the Phrogs are pushed up, it feels like this second point capture might come in very, very, very fast. But look at that, those ultimates being thrown out a very, very early window as well from Nuts here. So maybe this swap from Frosty on the Lucio and Nutter on the BAP instead of the other way around is hurting them a little bit. Not what you would usually see. And look at that, the fight win very, very easily from the Phiji Phrogs.
Yeah, both Shadows aren't going to find anything but enemy shield, but that's where Wag was play super aggressive with the help of Frog's Blizzard, and Frog is able to block off Mikey's Meteor Strike with the wall. So there you go. May is not the most mechanically gifted talent, here in the game, but definitely a big brain is going to be a huge bonus, and that's exactly what Frog has. And as they start to walk forward here, Sonic Ronic will have this ult, but they're still down Frog with an early pick from Nathan, and down Wags as well. The bomb out from Oxa, Desperation will find Nathan. Yes, it finds Nathan, and here comes Sonic Ronic as well, but gets pushed out of the Reaper ult. Mikey sends those flowers packing, return to sender, but it does not matter. There's 3 quick kills here that come in favor for the Phiji Phrogs, and there you go. You know, the ults really aren't winning in this fight, but just the neutral game with this Mei is doing wonders for him so far right now.
Yes, absolutely. And there were some very, very interesting moments in that fight. But as you said, maybe this swap from Frog onto the DPS and playing the Mei is not so much so about the mechanically giftedness, but rather about those brains, those strategies, and also that Diva Bomb from Ox catching Nathan was so crucial, because look at that, what Nathan can do with just that Dragon Strike. I mean, can you stop anything like that?
I mean, Mikey just being a nuisance in the backline will take Frog and Wag's attention away and still get out with their life, and they lose Phrogs in the meantime. Oh, the pin from Mikey right onto the wall, and Wag's gonna get that pin, and the shatter comes down but finds nothing. They're just simply out of range, and now a two-man shatter for Purple Jesus comes down. You know, honestly, if I was Wags, I would have taken that too, so I can't blame the guy. That looked like a juicy one, just barely out of range of that.
Yeah, exactly. It is such a fantastic situation for the Pusheens right now, but you can't really blame anyone for the decisions they're making. I think we're seeing, I don't want to say an elevated state of Overwatch, but it is as close as it gets. It is really making a difference every single player, the decisions they're taking. And now not that many ults online. The Blizzard is the only one that's going to be thrown out, but it gets eaten by Rybro.
And up, and then Sonic Running gets thrown against the wall, turned into paint. This man has been posterized by Mikey, and Mikey just slamming everybody against the wall, making pancakes out of these frogs. Might not taste very good, but my goodness gracious, it is looking it's looking stellar right now. Ox has a bomb, but oh, they can't touch. And 2 minutes and 48 seconds left in the time bank.
Mikey is in your walls, and he's got a powered up fist. That's the only way you can describe the performance that we just saw from the Doomfist Oaks, getting those Diva Bomb kills at the tail end, but it was just not enough. The pushings, the swagger, the confidence that you were mentioning, everything going well for them, and then Rybro eating that Blizzard, such a key moment. It basically turns that fight around in favor of the Pusheens.
I think the funny thing is the second that Ribro pops off on the Diva, eats that Blizzard, Ox decides to jump off the map. Like, that is just the Diva diff on that fight was fairly noticeable. But you know what? Hey, if anybody's gonna do it, 2 minutes 40 seconds of time bank is gonna be the Phiji Phrogs. This team, I've seen them before on Kings Row go down quite a bit on the attack round, then just come back with an even bigger sucker punch to the face. So the Pusheens gotta be ready to deal with this. And the big swap here is Mikey's going to swap off the Doomfist and onto the Mei, which, hey, who knows? You know, the Mei wasn't doing too many wonders for a lot of the fights for the Phiji Phrogs, aside from some really nice wall placements and freezes from Frog. But we have Mikey and Frog just swapping. They're just swapping. They're swapping heroes.
They just traded very politely right there. They're gonna say, okay, we're gonna put it the other way around. It is the exact same composition for everyone else, and you've got to wonder, we really aren't seeing that many plays of isolation, you know, placing that Mei wall behind the enemy to try to isolate 1 or 2 players. So you've really got to wonder what is in the folds of these players' brains to have that Mei wall go up.
Well, I can tell you what's in the folds of Purple Jesus' brain. It's a lot of wrinkles. This guy is not a smooth one when it comes to flame strike accuracy. Opens it up with a kill on a Phrogs. Why was Phrogs actually on Ana rather than the Baptiste in a dive and a brawl composition? That's interesting. Frog will get the kill on the Mikey, so you won't have the Mei potentially for this initial push of the Frogs. So a good opening pick here for Frog, if there is one.
And Nathan already with a Dragon Strike story, the headshot, and then another kill to boot. It's just going to be so powerful here through the hotel.
Chucks out and forces that rotation, but Purple Jesus is isolated right now. They force Nadir to use that immortality field very early, so now Wags has that advantage here in this fight. Critical HP is going to be Purple Jesus, but it does not matter. He'll get the kill on the Wags anyway. The flame strike goes to the window, won't find anything but the theater. Hopefully nobody is in that area. But, I mean, they're just getting the staggers here as they lose Ox's mech, and Sonic Ronic is taken out by Mikey. And with 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, Mikey is finding the headshots. The icicle is the perfect murder weapon. They're melting right in front of us, and so are the hopes of the Phiji Phrogs.
And once again, you've got to look at the ultimate economy. Shatter online for Purple Jesus, Diva Bomb almost there for Rybro, Mikey with the Blizzard, and the beat that Lucio Sound Barrier almost there as well. Not too shabby on the other side either.
Yeah, I mean, Pro Jesus has the Shatter. Could look to slam it down. Yes, he does it. It's a big one. 3 people on the ground. And they use the beat to clean up these final kills. As Purple Jesus charging into spawn. He charged right to the movie theater. There's Morbius is back in theaters, baby. He wants front row seats. And I'm just look at the ult economy here for the side of the Pokhara Pusheens. It's looking like desperation hour for the Phiji Phrogs. They're looking for answers.
Oh, absolutely. And if Purple Jesus had performed maybe a bit hotter at the beginning of the series, I firmly believe we would be looking at yet another MVP candidate, because these last 3 maps have just been lights out. First on the Wrecking Ball, now on the Reinhardt, giving an absolute masterclass on how it's done.
Wags gets walled off and dragoned. He had no chance there. I feel bad. Stuck against a rock in a hard place. And here comes the bomb from Ribro in the back. Finds for Roodles. There's no mortality field to help him out there. I mean, Purple Jesus is kind of in an awkward position right now, but Ribro is there to back him up and get the final blows as well. They're walking straight forward on the Frog. Frog is just playing mystery heroes right now, trying to find anything that's working out for him. And Ox is going to get out of the mecha now with 1 minute remaining. The stagger could basically be the championship going away for the Phiji Phrogs.
Oh, you absolutely hate to see it. This could very, very well be a last fight territory. By the time the engage happens, it's gonna be down to 30 seconds. But we have Wags here trying to find something, trying to go around with the Shatter. But look at that, the disconnect from the teams, and Oaks finally getting that remake, and the Diva Bomb is going to be there, but Nathan finds a kill onto Wags. Now it's gonna have to be the Diva Bomb if they want to get anything done. But with Purple Jesus and Rybro getting the stuff done, 20 seconds and counting down, this might very, very well be the end. Now Oaks is going to get chased by Rybro. The confidence is oozing out the pores of the Pokhara Pusheens. They can taste victory. The desperation Shatter from Wags. It's all coming undone. The clock is ticking down. Overtime gets activated. The Diva Bomb onto the point, trying to find something. Oaks and Frutals are going to combine for 2, and Sonic running with 1 more in there. Maybe the Phiji Phrogs are turning the fight back into their favorite, so would seem like. And maybe when everything was lost, they found the key. They finally found the magic. And oh my goodness.
I don't know how that just happened. Wags tossed a Shatter from statue, got hit with Nathan with a headshot, dies, but then Ox just touches point, last second desperation, gets a kill with the bomb, Remax able to stay alive for long enough for Frutals to return with the window and pump out the heals, pump out the damage. So I mean, that's just a huge play, a huge clutch coming out from Ox here. Doesn't want to go out in 4-1 fashion just as of yet. He wants to taste that trophy. He has yet to have the Corey Whales in his sights, but here we go. Here comes Frog with the dragon, is well placed. It splits off half the members of the Pokhara Pusheens. The bomb from Ribble up into the sky is gonna find Muffin Lumps, but they're gonna trap for Purple Jesus, so it's a 1-for-1. And here comes Frog yet again, getting the kills with the storm arrows. And it looks like the Frogs are yet again pushing forward. You spoke about oozing confidence. Here go the Frogs are coming to your spawn doors, and they brought goodies, and they ain't leaving until you buy something.
Oh, you best believe you said it perfectly. The Frogs are not gonna go down without a fight. That Corey Wales trophy is waiting so enticing, just some maps away. But it so happens to be that it is less maps away for the Pokhara Pusheens than it is for the Phiji Phrogs. And now another fight breaks out, and another Dragon Strike kill from Nathan.
That was a huge shadow from Wag, knocked 3 down. They got the kill another after the Dragon will take down the Rhine, but it looks like they're trading out, but it looks like the tank line for the Pokhara Pusheens are coming up clutch here with the final blows. Mikey chimes in with one last second one onto Frutals, but we're last fight territory, and the ult bank looks very dry.
It looks very, very dry indeed. Look at that. Purple Jesus with the Shatter on the other side. Maybe you've got the Diva Bomb. Frog is gonna have the Dragon Strike. But aside from that, all the other ults are gonna be away. Maybe the Amplification Matrix gonna come online in time for Nutter. But it is not gonna be anywhere near as to be ready. And Rybro just ate Phrogs Dragon Strike. That is such a big play, and Rybro coming big when it matters, really. And I am so sorry, Booty. This should be your casting.
The championship
my excitement. Oh my goodness, it is absolute madness on the point. 15 seconds remaining. Nathan, then Mikey combined for 4. The Demon Bomb doesn't find anything. There was a Shatter thrown out there. I don't know what caught, but now time is ticking down. There is an amplification matrix. The clock, is anyone there to touch the card? The Lucio doesn't get there, and the Pokhara Pusheens coming back from behind are gonna taste victory. The Corey Wales trophy is there. GG's all around. We have a Gopherwatch League Season 5.5 champion.
And going out on top in Overwatch 1 as well. This is the last second. This is that championship play right there from Purple Jesus. Slams them all down. And I'm going to say something in Gopherwatch League a caster hasn't said in over 2 years. I believe in feline supremacy. That is something that has not been said here very often. A cat-themed team has done it, ladies and gentlemen. It started with the Beebles in Season 2, and now it finally culminates full circle with the Pokhara Pusheens taking it home in Season 5.5, the final season of Overwatch 1. Purple Jesus, Mikey, Nutty are finally getting the taste of that trophy they have sought for so many years. And now they finally have it. The Core Whales comes home. And I think there's really no better way to end it than with a Purple Jesus shatter. I mean, that's a legendary player in Gopherwatch making a legendary moment right there. That's something he'll remember for a long time. I bet you that's going right up on the YouTube channel in 30 FPS and 240p.
You're absolutely right. Just bringing it around full circle. And as you said, that shatter, if there was an MVP that last map, it was definitely Purple Jesus. I said the Wrecking Ball was good. We had that redemption arc similar to that one of Fate, but this was very much reminiscent of Super, of Bumper, even of Hadi if you want a bit more recently and in Overwatch 2. Those Giga Chats with the hammer just swinging it around and absolutely taking out everything that gets in their way. For me, King's Row was Purple Jesus' map.
It was, but again, a series is not won in a single map, my friend. We have the unenviable position to select a Grand Finals MVP, and of course, the elusive reward for this is get to pick Riley Rusty Goomba's profile picture until the next season begins. So this is a very tough challenge, and I have my person in mind. I'll say their name real quick, and then you can bring it home if you think it's agree, or we can have a bit of a discussion. But honestly, Mikey, big stand-up player, a lot of damage put in the map. I had the Mercy Pocket, so maybe not, did it by himself. Purple G's, like you said, last 3 maps were all him. But the entire series, man, Nathan was there. Nathan was the backbone of this squad. The clutch plays, the timely picks, the great tactical visors, the positioning, everything was working for Nathan today. And I gotta say, that's my pick, and you're willing to argue with me, I assume, but just I want to give a shout quick to Nathan for that performance today.
I have to say that is a very, very much reasonable pick. Nathan really, really was that silent carry today. You said it perfectly yourself. Those tactical visors, we said silent plays that maybe are not so flashy, but in the end they really, really had a big impact. You were right, though. I have to argue. I might do a little bit of simping today, but the performance that we've seen from Mikey, I think, has been one for the ages. I think it has been MVP worthy. All those final blows being deadlifting at some points and some maps. It takes a special kind of player to carry that hard, especially those moments of desperation in Numbani, in Temple of Anubis, in the other maps. You had to find a constant in the Pusheens. It was going to be Mikey. That being said, since we find ourselves here in a little bit of a pickle, what do you think, my dear friend Booney? What about we have our dear producer behind the scenes choose between the 2 options that were just given out?
All right, we've got to restate the two options. My selection was Nathan, and Aliagator said Mikey. So we're gonna send it over to Trey. Trey, you are deciding Riley Rusty Glooma's profile picture for the next month. There's a lot of pressure on your shoulders, man. If you can't take it, just let us know. I gotta say though, I gotta point out my co-caster knew what he was doing. He picks the guy who named the Mongolian Mikeys to choose the MVP for this. I wonder who he was gonna pick out of the two options. But you know what? I'm all for giving Mikey the MVP as well. He had a great showing today, and honestly, the storyline of this guy, he's been here since the beginning of the Overwatch League, winning Season 3 MVP. And now he gets his finals. He gets the Corey Wills Trophy. Gets to raise it up, and now gets to raise the MVP as well. So I don't know if he is present for an MVP interview or not. If so, we can move into another Discord, and I guess we can give him a couple minutes. Because if not, then we'll send out the Gopherwatch League Overwatch 1 action. Send it out with a bang because my friend, I don't think there's any other way Overwatch 1 wanted to go out than again. 4-1 does not do this game justice.
Oh, absolutely not. And 4-1 doesn't even come close to describing how tight that game was. I mean, you had the Phrogs coming out on a blast at the beginning and fighting all the way until the end, but the Pokhara Pusheens were just a bit too strong this time around. As you said, massive shout out to Nathan. That was that would have been, I think, an MVP level performance 9 days out of 10. But the one day is the one where you're playing with Mikey. And so the MVP trophy is going to go there. And as you said, absolute best way to end off Overwatch 1. I think that was everything that our dear game. I don't want to say beloved because I know we have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this game, but at the end of the day, we all come back like degenerates to throw our lives into this one. And I think, as you said, this is just the best send-off that we could have had for it.
Of course, we do have Mikey actually ready for us, and the team with Ringer Chan and Gopherwatch League. So go ahead, and move over there, get our thoughts with the Grand Finals MVP, and just send Overwatch 1 off, like we said, with one more final interview. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with your Grand Finals MVP, Mikey, my guy. You've been in the league for so long. You've won the MVP. Your first team All Pro basically every season. You're finally lifting the Corey Wells Trophy. Just give us your thoughts and feelings, weighing this with your boy PJ and all others.
It's been such a fun journey, like making it here. It's actually like so unbelievable that we won the finals. I'm still kind of in disbelief that we just played that match and we just won it 4-1. I'm pretty happy right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Why wouldn't you be, my guy? What you got for us, Aliagator?
exactly. Like
I mean, you're simping, so you got your guy here. You nervous now? You
I nervous. I am sweating bullets right now. I am beating the guy that I just saw put on, and as I said, absolute performance for the ages. Um, I don't know if you'll take this compliment, Mikey, but that echo play reminded me of Fleta. I don't know if you've gotten inspiration from any VODs, but tell me, I gotta know. I'm a loudly bronze, so I'll never feel that. What does it feel like to be in the game at that point? How do you get in the zone, and what are your thoughts during the game?
um, so we from the start kind of knew like the only way for us to counter their brawl comp was by running like this Lucio Mercy like brawl dive, and like by doing that, we're all pretty mobile characters and they can't really dive on any of us. And so, my main tank, Purple Jesus, he would just like call it a target. And we just like all like int in on him. And so my team would just create a bunch of like all these opportunities for me to just go on, just like focus beam people, get some stickies in. And after like our defense on Numbani, we had a feeling they were getting like slightly tilted, and I think by that point I was kind of locked in.
Yeah, I mean that was the big turning point because again the first map, I'm gonna be honest, my guy, y'all got smacked. Like that's the Pusheens were sent to the glue factory by the Phrogs, but then yeah, Numbani, come through the stellar time bank on A. You let them get them through, but the draw only situation, you hold them on that defense and you send us to a 1-0 map 3. But I think just from there, you guys just took off, and that confidence we just saw was just oozing out of you. So, it's always fun to talk with you, Mikey, but we gotta send you with one final question. It's El Clasico, the last El Clasico of Gopherwatch League Overwatch 1. If you could not win MVP, who would you give it to on your team and why? You are the last player to have to select between 5 teammates. I do not envy you, sir.
I'm only allowed to choose one person.
Yep, you can't do the silly answer, which is I think everybody earned it. We want answers. We want feelings hurt, Mikey. We want you to shout out your favorite person. All right?
I'm gonna be honest. I think it has to be Nathan. That guy's like played so well for like his SR this entire season. I think by far like he should have been nominated for MVP if it wasn't me, but he's played so well. Like he's the most consistent player on our team. He's always getting like the first pick. He's so consistent on his like soldier and like cast characters. He even picked up the Hanzo like for like King's Row map, and I thought that was like fucking insane.
Yeah, I've never seen Nathan play Hanzo.
Absolutely nuts.
Just picking up people from across the map. I don't know. That is that Freddy Fresbear freaking the match. DNA is coursing through his veins right now. All right, Mikey. We don't want to take any more of your time. Go ahead and celebrate with your boys. I'm sure they're hanging out in the reef. I'm sure there's a big party going on for you guys. You've earned it. We can't wait to see you in World Cup or in Season 6. We sure hope to see you pop off in Overwatch 2, my guy.
Thank you so much.